Here from Cotuit in Lowell Park, it's Firebirds. It's Kettleers baseball on a Sunday afternoon at 4:46. Dylan Pescatore, Ian Nicholas on the Birds Broadcast Network, right back after a loss for the Firebirds last night. That's 2 in a row for the Birds, but they look to get a little bit of revenge here in Cotuit against the Kettleers. Ian, once, how was your day? And number two, Dylan Jacobs is on looking for another good start in Cotuit.
Two very different questions. First of all, thanks for checking in. Always appreciate it, pal. Ran 6 miles on the treadmill. Feeling good. Had some popcorn here from Lowell Park. It's great. Just like Dylan Jacobs was last time he was here from Lowell. 5 innings, shutout baseball. Off-speed was looking fantastic. And not only did he do 5 shutout on the mound, Dylan, he did it in 46 pitches. He wanted to pitch a little bit longer. Kelly Nicholson decided a little bit early on in the season last month not to stretch him out for his 6th inning. Who knows? He could look for a little bit of a revenge tour tonight. Not only does he know this Cotuit lineup a little bit, but his last start did not go well. Monday against Hyannis, a win for Orleans, but he gave under 4 innings and gave up 5 runs, including 2 home runs. This is a Cotuit team that's hit 19 home runs on the season, most in the league. So he's going to have to overcome that latest performance and get back to the pitcher that he was the last time he was here from Lowell Park.
3 good starts for Jacobs, 1 a little bit shaky. Now, talking back to yesterday's game, which the Firebirds lost to Falmouth, a cycle for Travis Bazana out of Oregon State. We go to Sammy Miller with more on that game that lasted over 3 hours and had a lot of things involved.
Thank you, Dylan. The word I kept hearing from the players following the game last night was weird. The team was able to battle through the fog as best as they could, but the delay created a pause in their momentum, which was hard to recreate and created an odd atmosphere. Jack Penny noted how he felt like the game was going back and forth, up and down, with not only the weather, but also their inability to capitalize with runners on bases. The Firebirds left 12 runners on base, earning 7 walks, but could not take advantage of that opportunity. Penny believes that they need to focus more and try everything they can to have their best at-bats when they have runners on. And he knows that they have a strong offense, but they're still lacking in getting those important timely hits, which will definitely be the emphasis for today. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Runners in scoring position has been a struggle for the Firebirds in the last 2 games, along with defense, and I think those are the 2 things that the Birds really need to start to shore up as we get into the later part of the season.
Well, it's a shame because yesterday it was Falmouth who made a lot of defensive mistakes, right? Credited for 4 errors, a lot of them in the early going, and Orleans couldn't take advantage. And as Sammy mentioned, when you strand 12 base runners, you're not going to have a lot of success. I mean, what were we talking about 2 nights ago when his team was on the road against Harwich and got shut out for the 2nd time this season? You go 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, it's going to be very difficult to win the game. Offense, I thought, was a little bit better last night. But again, there's a big turning point potentially in the game. Orleans trailing, bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher comes in the ball game, walks 3 batters in a row off 12 pitches, nobody out, and you come away empty-handed. Everybody with this team would tell you that can't happen. And what happens at the top of the 7th? We've talked about him so much over the last day. Travis Bazana takes advantage of the opportunity that Orleans didn't have inning earlier, hits a 3-run home run, finishes with a cycle on the game, and just puts his team ahead for good. And Orleans has not been that kind of team this season that can come from behind, but the team that sets the tone early with a couple runs and then lets the pitching do the rest of the work.
They also scored first yesterday, the first run in the 1st inning for the Firebirds, but there wasn't a lot of offense after that. In the bottom of the 7th, Jack Penny hit a 2-run home run to make it 6-3, and they continue to put runners on, but they couldn't come through and drive in those runners. Now they have to face the best team in the Cape Cod Baseball League in the Cotuit Kettleers, 16-7 record. They're putting up video net game numbers right now, and they look to continue against the Firebirds today, who really need a bounce-back performance until this losing streak can really get longer.
They do. Orleans, you got to give this team a lot of credit. The one thing they haven't done often this season is lose back-to-back games in a row. I know there was a big 5-game losing streak in the early part of the season, but Orleans, heading into last night, had not lost 2 games in a row since June 20th. So doing a very good job, Kelly Nicholson's crew has, of bouncing back. Now you have a 2-game losing streak, and you go into the belly of the beast, Lowell Park, playing a Kettleers team that has 32 points already. No other team in the league has 30. So this is a team that is playing so well in the middle of the year. and it's because they hit the long ball. Like you said, 19 home runs for Cotuit this summer. That's most in the league, and a lot of the damage has been done by Cole Mathis. He's hitting third tonight. The designated hitter has 4 home runs on the summer. But somebody who got another home run last night, like you mentioned, Jack Penny, the rising junior from Notre Dame, starting to put things together from the plate. A 2-hit performance in the loss to Falmouth, and even in the loss, he was the hero of the night, and Dylan caught up with him just before the game.
Thanks, Ian. Dylan Pescatore here with Jack Penny. Jack, you had another home run yesterday. You got the team right back in the game. What did you see in that at bat and finally hit one that almost went 400 feet?
Yeah, I knew it was coming into the second inning of the pitcher on the other team, and I knew he was throwing a lot of balls and had some trouble getting guys out in the previous inning. Had a couple walks and the bases were loaded. And I was really looking for a fastball. I knew he was going to get one or a couple during my AB, hopefully get one over the plate, and I got one over the plate, and I put a good swing on it.
As a hitter, the guy threw 12 straight balls. Thomas did, loaded the bases. You couldn't through. Is it a little bit difficult or different when the guy can't find the zone a lot and you can't lock in as much?
Yeah, it's that effectively wild type thing. Like you know probably what pitch he's going to throw, but you can't really hunt a location because it's kind of coming all around. But it's good enough to get geared up.
Dylan catching up with Jack earlier on here from Lowell Park. Bit of a cloudy day, 73 degrees from Barnstable, where Cotuit is located. Fun fact, Cotuit not actually a town here on the Cape. Learned that one yesterday.
I just learned that 2 seconds ago.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's why I'm here. Dylan, did you also learn that a dog can throw out a first pitch? It's bark at the park night, and a dog is thrown at the first pitch.
I'm excited to see how it works. You know what? Let's call this. All right, so we have the dog at the base of the mound with 2 people. The umpires are somewhat in our way. The dog is in a sitting position. There is no baseball yet. Now there's a baseball. Beautiful dog.
Golden retriever, red bandana around its neck.
With the baseball at its feet. What is it going to do with it?
Well, first of all, the dog is obviously waiting for the photo op. There's a cameraman on the first base side. Oh, my gosh.
The dog has picked up the ball and is running toward home plate. A strike by the puppy. Like a first pitch you've never seen before.
I've never seen anything like that. That's awesome. My dog can't do that. Shout out Maxine. There's no way.
Doesn't listen as good?
No, she doesn't really like retrieving at all. But she's not a retriever.
Not a retriever. So about 5 minutes until first pitch here from Lowell Park in Cotuit. The best team in the league in the Kettleers, and last time the Firebirds were here, it was a close game. It was 0-0 going to the 7th inning, a pitcher's duel between Dylan Jacobs, who's on the mound again today for the Firebirds, against the Cape Cod League's best pitcher in Cam Hill. They were 0-0 through 6. Cotuit had a chance with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th, and they hit a grand slam to go up 4-0, and that was the winner for the Kettleers.
Ryan Galaney is a fantastic player out of Wofford, and he made Nate Ward pay out of the bullpen. Cam Leiter was inserted first and loaded the bases. Then Ward tried to clean up the mess, and against Galaney, could not work out of a jam. He's only hitting 226 on the year, but 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. Galaney, who just finished up his senior season at Wofford College in North Carolina, most likely going to get drafted very soon as the MLB draft starts tonight. So no shame in giving up a big shot to one of the best players in the league, as the best and only theme song in the Cape Cod Baseball League plays out on the speakers from Lowell Park. It is what it is, right? I think the offense was in a bit of a funk then. I think you could say probably the same thing right now. And I know that winning games like you did last week against Hyannis and Wareham is not necessarily sustainable. You know, with your offense getting double-digit hits every single game, that's not going to happen in a Cape Cod Baseball League, Dylan. But you need the offense to pick up some slack tonight, give Dylan Jacobs some run support early, and let him work efficiently and quickly like he did the last time he was here from Lowell Park.
Facing off against the Firebirds tonight, the starting pitcher for the Cotuit Kettleers is Isaac Martinez out of UC San Diego. Same school as Matt Hallback in the lineup today for the Firebirds. The lefty out of UCSD had a good year out of the bullpen. A 6-1 record with a 2.84 ERA, 63 strikeouts in 57 innings. Mostly a bullpen guy. His longest outing was up to 6 innings out of the bullpen, but mostly 1 to 2 innings, so we expect a bullpen game from the Kettleers tonight against who in the starting lineup, Ian, for the Firebirds?
Firebirds tonight starts with Joe Oyama batting first, playing at second. Batting second is Justin Rubin, the designated hitter, committed to play at Pepperdine. Batting third is Jack Penny, the third baseman. Batting fourth is the teammate of Martinez collegiately, Matt Hallback, at first base. And batting cleanup, Eddie Micheletti. Batting fifth, he's over in left field tonight, currently in the transfer portal, plays at George Washington. Fenwick Trimble batting sixth, he's playing in right field. Out of James Madison batting seventh, the 2-lane transfer, Colin Tufts. He's playing in center field for the first time tonight as a Firebird. Doing the catching and batting eighth from Georgetown is Owen Carpellotti, and rounding out the order for Kelly Nicholson is Drew Farreau at shortstop, the Florida State transfer.
That's right, a lefty Martinez against a few lefties in the Firebirds order. Oyama, who actually has a little bit of experience against Martinez. They faced off in the regular season this year on April 2nd between UCSD and UC Irvine. And Oyama hit a single right up back up the middle. Funny enough, Ian, the pitch right before he hit the single, it was a pop-up in foul territory. Matt Hallback was playing third, and he dropped the ball.
Well, I think Matt Hallback is great defensively. Probably the only reason he dropped is because he was a teammate over the summer with Hallback. Oyama was with the Wenatchee Apple Sox in the West Coast League. Obviously, that's not why. But, you know, I'm sure Hallback was frustrated, but maybe not so frustrated because his former teammate then and now his current teammate with the Firebirds was able to get a base hit.
Joe Oyama shakes hands with the home plate umpire, Arturo Belmonte, and we are ready to go here from Lowell Park on Sunday afternoon, 5 o'clock, right on the dot. Martinez in the windup for a Cotuit team that has beat everyone and everybody in their way. The first pitch is a slider for a strike to the lefty Oyama. Defensively for Cotuit, from left to right in the outfield, Wills, Matheson, and McCoy. Third to first is Galaney, Norris, Pine, and Tobias doing the catching. Caleb Lomavita pop up in the infield to shortstop. Norris calls everybody off and makes the catch to retire Oyama.
The pop-up not dropped there. Also, Joe Oyama. I mean, he's a smart guy, right? You're not second in the league in batting average if you're not smart. Already kissing up to Arturo Belmonte. No, I'm just joking. That's just the kind of guy Joe is. Super respectful, super nice, and one of the favorites in the dugout. for this team.
2 pitches in. Martinez has his first out. Justin Rubin is the second hitter for the Firebirds today. First time he's bat. It is up in the 4 spot, or top 4, I should say. He's batting second tonight. Going from Virginia to Pepperdine, from East to West Coast this offseason. Takes the first pitch, ball high. The 1-0 is fouled first base side out of play. Rubin doing the DHing tonight for the Firebirds, who are in desperate need of some runs and some hits tonight after 2 pretty weak offensive performances the last 2 games.
Orleans, as we mentioned on the scorching start, left 12 base runners stranded last night.
1-1 is low and dropped by Loma Vida. He's caught each game against Cotuit and Orleans. This is the 3rd meeting of 4 between each team. Cotuit leads the season series 2-0.
A lot of California out here on the field. Loma Vida behind the dish from Cal Berkeley. Rubin going to Pepperdine, and obviously from UC San Diego, Martinez on the mound.
2-1 is smacked into left center field. Back goes Matheson. He's got a track on it and makes the catch. Right in front of the video board here at Lowell Park in left center. Matheson records the second out of the inning.
That's the second night in a row that Justin Rubin has hit a ball hard off the bat, and this hasn't broken his way. He's got good power, although he only had 1 home run during his sophomore season with Virginia. He is very close to adding an extra base hit to his resume.
The 3rd batter for the Firebirds is Jack Penny. Takes the ball high. You know, I asked Penny yesterday, of course, about his home run in the Scorching Start pregame show. He was telling me how important it is to watch these pitchers warm up. Maybe a lot of people don't take note of it or don't watch as he takes a ball high and then swings and misses at a changeup low. He said how watching warm-ups can really give you a little inside track into what they're going to do when you're up at the plate.
Well, you know, the guy behind Penny in the batting order, Matt Hallback, doesn't need to watch anything. He sees him every day in practice, but that's a wise move from Penny. The
1-1 is popped into center. Matheson drifts over into left center, calls off the left fielder, and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. A quick 9-pitch first inning for Isaac Martinez. That leaves the Firebirds scoreless as we go to the bottom of the 1st here from Cotuit. Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, we go bottom 1 here from Cotuit. Dylan Jacobs tabs the slab of rubber here on the mound against Cotuit.
Good alliteration.
The catcher, Owen Carpellotti. The rest of the defense for the Firebirds goes like this. From 3rd to 1st, Penny, Furrow, Oyama, and Hallback. Left to right in the outfield, Micheletti Jr., Tuft, and Trimble. First start for Colin Tuft in center. And Ian, who does Cotuit have coming up in their starting 9?
They have one of the hottest batters in the league leading off, Carter Matheson, the center fielder from Indiana. Batting second is Ryan Galaney, the 3rd baseman from, drumroll please, Wofford. Had the grand slam against this team last time these 2 played from Lowell Park. Cole Mathis bats 3rd, DHing by way of College of Charleston. Brock Wills batting cleanup, the left fielder. Batting 5th, Caleb Loma Vida, the catcher from Cal Berkeley. Batting 6th, someone you know well, Jacob Tobias from Arizona State. Batting 7th, Grant Norris, the shortstop. Batting 8th, Josh Pine, another Indiana Hoosier. Rounding out the order for Scott Pickler, or rather Mike Roberts, another one of the longest tenure managers in the league, James McCoy. I was thinking of Scott Pickler because our new pitcher played for YD last year.
That's right, Ivan Romero. And also similar colors between YD and Cotuit.
Thank you.
Jacobs on the mound, out of the windup, against Matheson, the lefty. Fires a first pitch strike with the fastball down the middle. Matheson started out his summer 0-11. Did not get hit in his first 11 at-bats ever since. He's had hits in his last 9 games. The 0-1, another fastball for a strike. Out of Indiana, like Ian said, he broke the Indiana freshman home run record with 19 homers, not this season, but the season prior. Got a lot of power in that left-handed bat. The 0-2 is chopped foul, first base side.
Like you said, a cold start to the summer for the rising junior, but 13 for his last 27. Leads the best team in the league in average, on-base percentage, walks, and stolen bases. What can he do?
And he plays good defense. 2 putouts in the top of the first. To the 0-2 again. Another fastball off the bat of Matheson to the shortstop Farrow, who makes the throw over for the first out. A 2-chopper to the shortstop, and Farrow, who's looking to get his confidence back on defense, makes a nice play.
Drew Farrow, the bat is starting to get hot for the rising junior, transferring to Florida State. He's hitting .250 on the season now for Orleans, but he has committed 7 errors on the summer. That's a part of his game I know he's working on, and that's just a routine play, but one that he definitely needed to make and did.
Ryan Galaney, the second batter, takes a strike on the off-speed from Jacobs, the righty, out of Stetson. Last time out was not his best stuff against Hyannis back on Monday. A 4-run third inning that included 2 home runs, a 3-run shot by Cam Smith as the 0-1 goes outside, and then a solo shot from Will Turner out of Clemson. His final line was 3 2/3 innings with 5 runs all being earned. But other than that, Ian, every start since, he's been really good.
The start before that was against Cotuit, and he was dominant.
The 1-1, a fastball just powers past the bat of Galaney. 1-2. Like you were saying, back on June 26th, 5 shutout innings, 4 hits, 1 strikeout, and he was really efficient too.
32 of his 46 pitches. 46 pitches in 5 innings were for strikes.
The 1-2 pitch to Galaney, fastball just outside. Everyone thought it was strike 3, but not the man in charge in Arturo Belmonte.
Jacobs has to realize he needs to get back here, lock in, and throw just as good a pitch. It's a good pitch. You're not always going to get the call in the lower third.
2-2, 1 out, no one on base, bottom first of a scoreless game. Fastball's fouled back by Galaney. A gorgeous field here in Barnstable, I should say. Learned that today as we went over. Woods surrounding the outfield. Left, right, center. A video board in left center field. The 2-2 again is outside. Couldn't get the chase on the slider as Galaney holds up. Runs the count full. The bullpen for the Kettleers are behind the left field fence. Straight away. A 2 almost double-decker bench for their bullpen guys.
They got everything.
The full count pitch is popped in right. This one pretty deep. Back goes the right fielder, Trimble, at the wall. He makes the catch. Great catch by Fenwick Trimble. Rushing back, reaches his arm up, and makes the play about 2 or 3 feet before the fence.
Great power. Awesome swing. Galaney goes the opposite way. Trimble was there. Also somebody with good power.
The first pitch of the 3-hitter, Cole Mathis, a 2-way and hits in his 6 of his last 7, is a strike with the fastball from Jacobs. The 0-1, he is a curveball that had Mathis out in front. Quickly 0-2. The shortstop Farrow, 2 steps to the left of second base. The 0-2 pitch is pop foul. Check that. Farrow's back where a shortstop usually stands, but the second baseman, Oyama, is on the left side of second base. 3 on the left side against Mathis.
Mathis, a lot of the balls he's hitting are going in the air. 4 home runs. He leads Cotuit. Went deep in their last game as well.
The 0-2 is in the air, but shallow to center. Incoming is Colin Tuff, still on a sprint, reaches up and makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning for the Firebirds in the top of the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Cotuit in the bottom of the first. Let's go to the second, still scoreless. The Cotuit offense stifled by Dylan Jacobs in the bottom of the first. We go to the top of the second. 4-5-6 due up for the Firebirds. Hallback, Micheletti Jr. and Trimble. A little UCSD rivalry right here between the pitcher and the hitter. The righty Hallback, as Lomotiva throws down the first warm-up pitch. And Hallback will take his spot in the right-handed batter's box. Top two, no score, no hits, and no errors between both teams.
Two really good players going at it. Two collegiate teammates, Matt Hallback, an all Big West first-team selection. But Martinez was UC San Diego's Male Athlete of the Year. Second in all the Big West in saves. But starting today.
Lefty fires a fastball that curls in on the outside part of the zone to the righty Hallback. Must have faced each other in practice. Getting Hallback some at-bats, Martinez some pitches. The 0-1 is a changeup that gets Hallback out in front.
It's interesting because obviously these two know each other's games, but they never really compete against each other a whole lot, especially in these kinds of scenarios, real action where it means so much.
The 0-2, Hallback gets a good piece of it to right, but McCoy makes the catch in deep right field.
Score one for the Triton on the mound. That's now 3 straight flyouts induced by Martinez. Rubin and Penny flew out to center to end the first inning. Also a pop-out for Joe Oyama to start this game, the short. Ball's in play, but guys aren't connecting with the barrel.
Eddie Micheletti, the lefty, into the box. Takes the first pitch, ball low for Martinez in the dirt. Micheletti hitting .220 on the year. 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. Could be a big day for him today or tomorrow as well. Broken bat into center field. In comes the center fielder. It chops in front of Matheson for a single. Broken bat, a little sliver off the hand of the wood. Micheletti has a hit with 1 out in the top of the second.
Eddie Micheletti, who had such a strong start to this summer for Orleans, needed that one. Over his last week, he's only played in 2 games. He was 0 for his last 7. Doesn't strike out a lot. He's only struck out once in the last week, but didn't have a hit and gets a much-needed hit. First hit of the game for Orleans.
Fenwick Trimble, the batter after Micheletti. Swinging first pitch, pops it foul, third base side. So Micheletti on first, the first hit of the game for either team. Comes here in the top of the second by the lefty in the transfer portal. Plays baseball at George Washington. Looking for a new home or basically either a new college or maybe even a professional team tomorrow or today. And the day 1 of the MLB draft is today. Day 2 is tomorrow, where they'll do rounds 3 to 10. The 0-1 to Trimble, chopped foul. Check that fair. Oh, ruled foul. The third baseman, Galaney, made it seem like it was fair. Belmonte calls it foul, so Trimble gets another opportunity as he was going to get thrown out at first.
Speaking about Galaney, that's somebody who could get drafted tonight. Hit .383 with Wofford in the spring. A .670 slugging percentage, nearly a 1,200 OPS. I know Wofford doesn't scream big-time program, but look, big numbers are big numbers. And the SoCon, he is that guy. So he's going to get drafted very early.
It'll be a fun experience or a fun moment. When we play in baseball and get drafted to a professional team. 0-2 is the count to Trimble. 1 out with Micheletti on first after his broken bat single. Lefty Martinez deals high with the fastball for ball 1.
And Martinez, not somebody who's necessarily going to beat you with velocity. Just a crafty lefty. That fastball clocking in at 89 miles an hour, according to TrackMan.
Has a lot of movement on it. They call it ride, and what exactly does that mean? The 1-2 for Martinez is chopped foul to the backstop by Trimble. He stays alive. Ride means on a fastball from a lefty that it's going to start to move away from righties. It has a movement that doesn't just come straight in. It moves away from righties. It seems a little bit maybe on the outside corner, then ends up a few inches off the plate. Martinez comes set. Micheletti off first. They're going to check in on the runner. Also, Hallback told me, he's given me the scouting report on Martinez, that his fastball can also seem like not only does it move away from righties and into lefties, but also it can even rise a little bit, or that's what it seems like. Martinez looks at first, the 1-2 with one out. Trimble into left field on a line, but right into the glove of Wills, who comes on and makes the catch.
Usually when you hear that a pitcher's best offering is the fastball, it's due to velocity, right? Because that pitcher probably throws upwards of 95, maybe even close to 100 miles an hour. That's not the case with Martinez. And honestly, that's probably what you'd prefer, because these guys have seen high velocity before. They're some of the best college baseball players in the country, but they haven't seen a pitch that probably moves like his fastball.
They faced a lefty last time here, Cam Hill.
Oh my gosh, he's so good.
And he's not only good against the Firebirds, he's good against every team. Another check over on Micheletti. The batter is Colin Tuft, the switch hitter out of Tulane, heading to New Orleans in the fall. Playing center field for the first time tonight as a Firebird, his third game. The lefty Martinez deals to Tuft, in for a strike. Dropped by Loma Vida, but then fired back to Martinez in time. Micheletti's on first after a one-out single. No score, one hit between both teams in the top of the second. 0-1 the count to Tuft. Kicking and firing is Martinez outside for a ball. The yellow and blue gear for Loma Vida. The catcher for Cotuit today.
Cal Berkeley. Go Bears, right? Out of the Pac-12?
Believe so. The 1-1 count. Right up the middle, into right center field. It'll get down for a hit. Micheletti around second. Let's see what they do at third. They're going to stop him right there, but Tuft is in with a double. A 2-out, 2-bagger for Colin Tuft to set the Firebirds up with two in scoring position with 2 outs in the top of the second.
Colin Tuft has a lot of potential to do serious damage from the plate. Hasn't had a lot of opportunity at the collegiate level with under 100 at-bats in each of his first 2 seasons at Virginia, but that's why he's transferring to Tulane. A team that made the NCAA tournament is an exciting program on the come-up. Hit .292 as a freshman and .263 batting average over his first 2 years at a big ACC program in Virginia.
Here's a Big East guy, Owen Carpellotti, 2 in scoring position against Isaac Martinez, who fires away for ball 1 to the lefty Carpellotti. 170 the batting average on the year with 2 RBIs for the man out of Georgetown. Tuft is on second, Micheletti on third, 2 outs, top 2 of a scoreless game. The 1-0 outside again. A lefty-lefty battle again. Carp, one of 5 potential lefties in this lineup. Drew Furrow, a switch hitter. Up 2-0 in the count. Martinez comes set at the belt. He'll fire a strike with the off-speed, the slider that catches the outside corner to the lefty Carpellotti.
I know you've talked a lot to hitting coach Max Fesky, and he said out of all the players on his team that could be in a slump, Carpellotti is the one he feels is hitting the ball the hardest and has the opportunity to turn things around soon.
Last time out, had a hit down the left field line. The 2-1. Did he check his swing? He did. Ball 3. A check over at the third base umpire playing behind the mound in Mike Hinojosa. So 3-1 the count, 2 outs, 2 in scoring position for Carpellotti, left-handed hitting catcher. Martinez in his first jam of the day. Here comes pitch number 27. The lefty lifts his leg, fires a 3-1 slider. Perfect location for a strike to run the count full.
This pitch is just breaking all over the place. It's hard to say if it's breaking north, south, east, or west. It's a little bit of everything, and it's a hard pitch to track down.
Full count, 2 outs. Micheletti on third, Tuft on second. Martinez fires the 3 to Carpellotti. Checks his swing. Did he go? He did not. A walk. Carpellotti takes his spot at the open base on first. It'll be bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the second, no score for Drew Furrow.
That's just an unselfish at-bat from Owen Carpellotti, forcing Martinez to find the zone. And Carpellotti knows what he's capable of. He has been driving in a lot of runs at the collegiate level. Over 80 in 100 games played with Georgetown, but decides to let Drew Farrow do some damage.
Farrow against Martinez. Bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch is into right field, but right at McCoy. Makes the catch. 1 pitch with the bases loaded, and he gets out of the jam. 2 hits for the Firebirds at the top of the second, along with a walk, but they leave the bases loaded as we go to the bottom of the second. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network, we go to the bottom of the second. The Firebirds leave the bases loaded in the top of the second. They load the bases with a single by Micheletti, a double by Tuft, and a walk by Carpellotti. But Farrow smacks it right at the right fielder, McCoy, for the third out. Dylan Jacobs will come back to the mound.
Dylan Jacobs just trying to do his best to keep this thing even because, once again, the offense did a good job. Loaded the bases, but nobody's going to remember it because you can't put a run on the board. You did a lot of things right. Drew Farrow with a great swing to right, but on the first pitch, right after a walk.
Jacobs fires high for ball 1 to Wills. You said it, Ian. It was a long at-bat by Carpellotti that forced Martinez to walk, but then Farrow got a good pitch to hit, and he swung at it just right at the right fielder, McCoy. You can't do anything about it.
I think it's a good swing. It lands inside the gap. That's probably 2 runs coming across the board.
Fastball hits the outside corner against Wills out of UNC Wilmington. Wilmington. There we go.
There you go. There's a G in there.
There we go. I got it. The 1-1 count to the lefty is low for ball 1 or ball 2. He's a two-way. He's done a few pitching appearances for Wills. And of course, he's come onto the scene and hit really well for this Cotuit team.
A player who decided to go the collegiate route, although he was a top 200 prospect in last year's MLB draft.
The 2-1 is on the ground to short. Farrow up with it, makes the throw. It's high and over the head of Hallback. Reaching first is Wills. It goes, I believe, out of play. We'll see where they put Wills. Will they keep him at first or have him take second? Oh, Carpellotti. He was running down the first base line, and he caught the ball, which doesn't allow the ball to go out of the play, and Wills stays at first base. So a great play by Carp.
That's just heads-up thinking from Carpellotti. We talked about it in the first inning, right? Drew Farrow's been putting better swings at it from the plate, but that's a play you have to make, or at least just give Hallback a shot to keep it in front of him.
So a leadoff runner for Cotuit, their first of the night, is on an E6 from Farrow. Wills is on first. Loma Vida takes a ball low from Jacobs. Had 3 hits against Hyannis last time out. Takes a strike from Jacobs. 1-1 with nobody out. Yesterday, Cotuit, they traveled all the way to Chatham, but all for Naughtian because the fog got them too.
Yeah, and you say that because on Wednesday, Orleans couldn't even complete a full game against the A's.
1-1, nasty changeup that Loma Vida swings and misses that.
Veterans Field, it's a great ballpark. It's awesome, but you got to feel like it's almost been cursed by Mother Nature. I mean, nobody could complete a full game there.
Sometimes they can't even start it, like last night. Check over on first on Wills. 1-2 is the count to Loma Vita out of Cal Berkeley.
And the night before, Falmouth came to town. They couldn't start that game either. They decided to do a home run derby because what else are you going to do?
They need a few home runs over in Chatham. The 1-2, a fastball fouled back.
Dylan. I mean,
What can I say?
great Stephen A. Smith once said, you're not wrong. I don't know if you had to say it. It's been tough sledding.
Firebirds took advantage of it. They had 2 home runs of their own in that suspended game. The 1-2 is down the left field line, in for a base hit. Loma Vita rounding first, going to second, around third. Coming home is Wills. The throw is offline and not made. Wills scores an RBI double for Loma Vita. The error comes back to cost the Firebirds, and Cotuit gets on the board first.
That's a great hit from Caleb Loma Vita, who has delivered results in each of the last 2 summers for Cotuit. Drove in 5 runs in 27 games last year for the Kets, and in 15 games this season is now driven in 7. It's an unearned run against Dylan Jacobs because Wills reached on an error, but now you just got to limit the damage with another runner in scoring position and nobody out.
Loma Vita on second. Jacob Tobias takes a strike, the lefty out of Arizona State. Has a lot of power in his bat. Is nicknamed Toby Tanks. It's a lot of home runs over at Phoenix Municipal Stadium in Tempe.
Who gave him that nickname?
A lot of fans, some media members. Takes the ball high. A lot of power. Also had a grand slam this year against Cal State Fullerton.
Don't bring up grand slams against the Kettleers.
That's right. Only one on base, Loma Vita. The 1-1 is swung on to miss by Tobias. Came out of his shoes for that one as Jacobs just fired it right past him with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. 1-0 Cotuit, bottom 2. Loma Vita on second. 1 hit so far in the inning for the Kettleers. And 1 reaching on an error. 1-2 the count to Tobias with nobody out. The pitch is a fastball that's grounded to Oyama at second base. Makes the play to first. Moving to third is Loma Vita. Tobias does his job, but is retired for the first out of the inning.
That's how you manufacture runs. I understand no run came across the board there. But when you do happen to, not make it on base, productive outs. Move a guy over. Hit the ball towards the right side of the infield. Put Loma Vita, who doesn't have crazy speed, closer to home.
Grant Norris swings and misses at a slider from Jacobs. Loma Vita on third. The infield is in. Everybody, including the corners and the middle infielders, for the Firebirds. Looking to cut off their run at the plate. A similar play a few nights ago in Harwich. It went awry. Loma Vita breaks toward the plate and now comes back. Carpellotti throws to third. They have him in a pickle. The third baseman, Penny, throws to Carpellotti. Now he'll chase them back. Carp still with it. Throws to third. Tags out Loma Vita. What's that in the book? It's the second out. I'll tell you that. A big out for the Firebirds to cut out a runner at third base.
That is a brutal break for Cotuit. And Mike Roberts, who is one of the biggest experts in base running probably in the game of baseball, is not a fan of it. He gives Loma Vita some words as he heads to the dugout. Only a player who's stolen 1 base this season with Cotuit, not necessarily the guy you would expect to take such a large lead off third.
The 1-1 count to Norris is popped up foul. Carpellotti gives it a look, but it goes out of play. And the chase is on. Ian, he broke almost halfway toward the plate from third base with 1 out. Carpellotti saw him. The third baseman, Penny, got back to the bag, and it was over for Loma Vita.
Dead to rights. Really well executed between Penny, Carpellotti, and Farrell.
The 1-2 is a fastball, right field side out of play on a foul ball. Those are the type of plays that Cotuit hasn't made the entire season, and that's why they have such a great record at 16-7.
No. And very similar to last summer. Kettleers were ahead in the race, just like they are this summer, by a commanding margin. But the season ended with a first-round exit in the playoffs for Mike Roberts' crew. Mistakes are going to happen. Perfection is not a thing in baseball.
1-2 again. Fly ball into right. Dropping quickly. Tough over, and he makes the catch on the run. Colin Tough from center field to right center field in a flash for the third out of the inning. Cotuit does put one up on the board. They lead 1-0 after 2.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm Sammy Miller. The Cotuit Kettleers are up 1-0 heading to the top of the third. Now, Dylan Jacobs had a lot of success the last time he was on the bump at Lowell Park, going 5 innings with no runs allowed. And the coaches say that the key to replicate that today is having him stick his finish on breaking pitches and let the fastball eat. Bullpen coach Cole Cook noted how he has a rising fastball with high spin that is extremely effective, and said how Jacobs is looking to continue to hone in his skills this summer before heading back to Stetson with his Firebirds teammate Jonathan Gonzalez. The two Stetson Hatters have had a very strong summer and look to continue to heat up in July. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. One Hatter from the right side in Jacobs, one from the left side in Jonathan Gonzalez. Another pitcher from the left side, Isaac Martinez, is back to the mound for the third inning of work.
Hey, you've got a couple pitchers here today that are maybe trying to prove they can be more than just relievers. For Jacobs, in his first season with Stetson, he was used both out of a bullpen and in a starting role. 13 appearances, 7 starts. Meanwhile, Isaac Martinez came exclusively out of a bullpen for UC San Diego, but he's one of the best relievers in all of the Big West. Maybe trying to prove he can stretch it out here in inning number 3.
He's gotten 6 outs. He's looking for a little bit more. Oyama, the first hitter in the top of the third for the Firebirds from the left side. Flew out in the infield to shortstop the first time up. Takes a big swing and a miss. Had a fastball down the middle at 88 miles per hour. 1-1 the count. Nobody on, nobody out. 1-0 Cotuit. They score an unearned run in the bottom of the second after Brock Wills got on base. An error by the shortstop and then a double by Loma Vida drove him in. The 1-1 to Oyama is low. Martinez, only 31 pitches. Being efficient and left the bases loaded last time up on the mound. The 2-1 is down the right field line for Oyama. It will be fair and into the corner. Oyama to first. Now he's going to second. Is he going to try it? Yes, he is. He's going to third. The throw goes into second. The relay goes wide. Oyama's going to try to come to the plate. The throw to home is dropped. Oyama, an inside the park home run. And what did we just see?
Magic. That's what he is. He is a one-man wrecking crew. He was going for his 4th triple of his summer, which is insane to say. And his unbelievable speed forces an errant throw. And to be honest, they had him dead to rights. And just popping right out of the glove of Caleb Lomavita. Oyama catches a break, and his speed just forces everybody to get tight and make defensive mistakes. So Oyama, he is unreal.
He's unreal. They call it a triple and an error. We'll see exactly who they put it on. Oyama comes around, and the game is tied 1-1 on the third hit of the day for the Firebirds. Hallback is the batter. Count 1-1 to him after a low strike. Oyama laced it into right field, right down the line into the corner. McCoy came over to chase it. The 1-1 is fouled at the plate. Threw it into Grant Norris, the shortstop, who threw it to third. Galaney was right there and had Oyama, like Ian said, maybe by 3 to 5 feet at third base. The throw got away. And then Norris, who was backing up the play, threw it home to Loma Vida after Oyama broke toward the plate. 1-2 is in a right field. McCoy coming in and makes the catch on the run for the first out of the inning. The throw got away a little bit past the dugout of the Kettleers. The throw to Loma Vida was low. He blocked it but couldn't catch it, and Oyama scored with a slide.
Hashtag Joe for MVP. Right, that article released yesterday by the Cape Cod Baseball League. No disrespect. I mean, a lot of good names on that list. Hunter Hines from Yarmouth Dennis. Derek Bender from Bourne. Nick McLean from Wareham. Joe Oyama's second in the league in average. Second in the league in on-base percentage. But he's just doing unbelievable things. It's not just the numbers. He just sparks unbelievable stuff.
Mike Roberts is going to come out and talk with Martinez after a first pitch ball to Jack Penny. That was Justin Rubin who lined out to right field. It's going to be a pitching change for Cotuit. A mid-pitch, which at bat pitching change after they're having a lefty warming up in the bullpen. Roberts still talking with his guy. Martinez on the mound. Now they're going to call in the arm from the bullpen. We'll take a break here on the Birds Broadcast Network and tell you who it is. 1-1 the score between the Firebirds and the Kettleers. Top three here from Lowell Park. The lefty, Austin Eminer, out of East Tennessee State University, is the new pitcher for Cotuit in the top of the third. The Jack Penny's at bat had already started. It was a ball from Isaac Martinez, another lefty out of UCSD. He was taken out by Mike Roberts. New pitcher is Austin Eminer, like I said, and he'll face the lefty Penny.
Eminer making his Cape Cod Baseball League debut. Second straight lefty. 2-4 with East Tennessee State in the spring. 15 games, 8 starts, and a 5.40 ERA.
Count starts 1-0, a curveball low. Did Penny go? He did not. 2-0. The count on the 76-mile-per-hour curveball. Another lefty out of the Cotuit bullpen. 3 hits for the Firebirds. Oyama's what's called a triple, and then he scored on an error by Josh Pine, the second baseman. 2-0 is outside. Belmonte and Roberts barking at each other from home to the dugout. Not last time they faced, but 2 times ago. Mike Roberts was thrown out of the game. 3-0 in for a strike. It was a 3-1 game. Roberts was thrown out. And then Rodney Green, right now playing for Team USA, hit a 3-run home run to go up 6-1. That was the final score in the first meeting between these two teams.
Yeah, it's not been fun times for Orleans playing the best team in the league.
3-1's outside. A walk to Jack Penny as the Firebirds get another base runner. That hasn't been the problem, Ian, especially tonight. 1 run on the board, and they've had bases loaded in the second, and now their 5th base runner in Jack Penny tonight.
One issue for Austin Eminer during his time at college has been handing out free passes. 53 1/3 innings pitched in the spring with East Tennessee State, 40 walks. Started his summer in the Coastal Plains League with the Macon Bacon.
Oh, that's a name right there. A ball to Matt Hallback, the righty. Flew out to right in the second. Eminer starts his debut with a walk to Penny, who stands on first.
Big travel for him. He's from Macon, Georgia, originally, playing up here in the Cape.
The 1-0 is high. He's having trouble finding the zone. Of his first 6 pitches, 5 have been balls.
How do you like your bacon cooked?
I don't know. You can cook it different ways?
Crispy or like burnt?
I think it's crispy.
Good.
2-0 is a strike. You ever see the movie Grown Ups?
Of course.
Where they put the bacon on the, it's like a, what are those things? The bug shocker. It kills the bugs.
Really?
Yeah. And they cooked it on there. I don't know if it's real.
You could do that.
I could. 2-1 the count to Hallback. On first is Penny. 1 out, Hallback fouls it back.
My favorite bacon in an entertainment program bit was Michael Scott burning his foot in The Office because he tried to make bacon in the bed.
I didn't see that episode, but I can see it in my mind. I can visualize that.
That's Michael Scott for you. Trying to do a little bit at once. A little too much.
2-2, 1 out. The pitch is low. Hallback checks his swing. Full count between Eminer and Hallback as the Firebirds look to get something going here. A little bit more in the top of the third. Already 1 run across on a triple by Oyama. He scored on the error by the second baseman, Josh Pine. Came all the way across. Check over at first before. Oyama going 360 feet in one play. And sliding into home to score the first run of the day for the Firebirds. Now they're looking for more. Hallback came in hitting 270. No homers and 3 RBIs. Full count pitch is outside for a ball. Back-to-back walks to start the debut in the Cape Cod Baseball League for Austin Eminer. It'll bring up Eddie Micheletti with 2 runners on and 1 out.
Eminer's stuff got a lot of swing and miss in the Coastal Plain League. In his second year with the Macon Bacon, 17 2/3 innings pitched this summer, 31 strikeouts. And the summer before, he had 27 and 20 innings pitched.
Got a lot of K in his game, but also a lot of BB. A strike to Micheletti. Looks at the curveball for the first pitch.
Matt Hallback needed that too. Sorry to cut you off. He was 0 for his last 9 and had not walked in his last 2 games.
Gets away from his teammate Martinez and gets on base.
Yeah.
On second is Penny. On first is Hallback. The 0-1 pitch to Micheletti in for a strike. Quickly 0-2. Another lefty-lefty matchup for Micheletti Jr. Singled off Martinez in the first on a broken bat. Hit to center. 0-2 the count. First baseman Tobias playing behind the bag. Micheletti pulls it right to him. Tobias will move and throw to second for 1. No throw back to first as the pitcher, Eminer, was covering the bag. So a fielder's choice. It goes 3-6 to get the runner at second and Hallback. So runners on the corners with 2 outs for the Firebirds, and Fenwick Trimble comes to bat.
Big spot for Trimble. How do you get it done with 2 outs? Orleans has not been so successful over the last 2 games, both in losses to Harwich and Falmouth, but against the best team in the league and the best pitching staff in the league. How do you take the lead?
Trimble swings and misses at the off-speed pitch from Eminer. Back-to-back walks with 1 out. Micheletti grounds it to first. Tobias throws to second to get the force out at that base. Penny's on third. He moved over there. Micheletti's on first. 1-1 the score. Top 3 between the Firebirds and the Kettleers. 0-1 to Trimble from the lefty Eminer. Here's a strike on the outside corner. He's found his groove. He's found the strike zone the lefty has.
Trimble's found his groove as of late, too. hits in each of his last 3 games, including multiple hits for the first time since mid-June last night.
A line out to left in his first at-bat. The 0-2 is another foul ball. Right field side out of play. And if you remember, last time we were here, we realized that in Cotuit, every foul ball is sponsored.
Yes, you have to pay the bills somehow, and especially with the tickets being free in a packed house here on a Sunday night. Local businesses need their support.
Not too bad. The 0-2 again. Trimble fouls it away. Micheletti on first, Penny on third. These have been the situations for the Firebirds that over the last 2 days they haven't been able to come through in. Against Cotuit, against the top team in the league, East or West, you have to come through and get the big hit. You got 3 today. Can they get number 4 from Fenwick? 0-2 steal the count. Micheletti takes off. Trimble into right field. It hits the runner, Micheletti, for the 3rd out of the inning. Oh, man, what a tough break for the Firebirds. Micheletti was on the move. Trimble put it into the hole as the second baseman Pine went to cover the bag, and he gets hit with the ball for the 3rd out. What can you say?
You can't do anything about that. I mean, even Coach Fesky was just smiling heading back to the dugout because, like, of course that would happen, right? It's just it's a shame. And no blame really on anybody. Almost like Micheletti knew it was going to happen too. And that's how the inning ends.
Couldn't get out of the way. 1-1 the score as we go bottom 3. Something crazy happens every day in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and that was just another example. 2 outs, runners on the corners. Taking off from first was Micheletti, and he gets hit with the line drive off of Trimble's bat for the 3rd out of the inning. It brings Dylan Jacobs back to the mound for the 3rd time tonight. Fires a strike low in the zone to Josh Pine, who is credited with the out. It is, according to the rule book, a 4U in the book. He is credited with the putout even though he didn't do anything. Popped up foul, quickly 0-2 against the righty out of IU.
It's kind of similar to steal a basketball rule. If you score on your own basket, don't they give the bucket to the player who is closest to the play for the other team? That's how they do that in basketball.
The 0-2, fastball, cold, strike 3. First strikeout for Jacobs, and he starts out the 3rd with a K. I think that's how it works, Ian.
That's how it works. So it's like LeBron James just has a brain fart, scores on the wrong basket. The closest player to him from the other team is Bronny James. Bronny James gets the bucket.
Look at that.
Don't know why I decided to use the James family as a reference point there. Just easy.
The lefty, ground ball to short. Farrow throws it low. Hallback with the scoop for the out. McCoy is retired for the 2nd out of the inning.
It's a big play to make for Farrow. I understand it's a routine ground ball, but right now defensively, he's working through some things. And for him to get that out on another good pitch from Dylan Jacobs is important. 2-way very fast. Jacobs back to the pitcher he was the last time he was here.
Back to the top of the order. Matheson takes a strike low. He didn't like that call. I think that strike ended up around his shins. Jacobs will take it. 0-1 the count against the lefty Matheson. Slider is a little bit lower, this time for a ball in the dirt.
And Matheson's not that tall, only 6'1". Mike Roberts, I believe, having some words over at third base with home plate umpire Arturo Belmonte.
He's now come out from behind home plate, and he wrote something in his book. Roberts is mad. What did he write? Did he write a warning? I'm confused.
Maybe he has a journal.
Could have a journal.
diary.
The 1-1 is chopped down the first base line. Going to be a tough play. Jacobs takes it himself and touches the bag for the third out of the inning. Mike Roberts gets a warning. Jacobs gets a 1-2-3 inning in the third. Let's go to the fourth. Still tied 1-1 between Orleans and Cotuit. Some arguing between the innings between Mike Roberts and Arturo Belmonte, home plate umpire and the head manager of Cotuit, a team that's just blown away everybody so far in the season. Just past the halfway mark, game 23 for the Firebirds. As they're in Cotuit, Austin Eminer is back to the mound against Colin Tuff, the righty. Had a double to right center field in the second. Comes back up, top four, 1-1 tie game. 3 hits for Orleans, 1 hit for Cotuit, and an error for each team.
Yeah, I believe the arguing just stemmed from some activity in the dugout for Cotuit on the left side of the field after a debatable strike call on Carter Matheson. Guys had some words. Belmonte issued a warning saying, I don't like those words. And Mike Roberts probably didn't like the response to that. It is what it is. Guys are going to talk.
Ball one outside to Tuft. Eminer from the left side against the righty. Tuft, who swings and misses at a high fastball.
Tuft had a great game. Not only did he have a well-hit double, but made an awesome play earlier in this game in center field. He's now started in each of the 3 outfield spots in each of his first 3 games with Orleans.
He's been everywhere. He can do anything. The 1-1, another swing and miss at the fastball, coming in at 91 from Eminer. Can also catch, can play third. He even said he could play first if needed.
Everything but middle infield. But honestly, if he had some reps there, I think you could probably put him there and he'd be just fine. He's a really good athlete.
The 1-2 to Tuft is outside. So anywhere but the middle infield. So could he pitch?
I don't know, but he was a wide receiver on the football team in high school, so he could catch, which is why he's behind the dish. Don't know if he could play second or short, though.
To ask. The 2-2 to Tuft is a little bit low. A great take on a curveball that curled back in, but just went low. So a full count to Tuft. 1 for 1 on the day. Leadoff hitter here in the top of the 4th of a tie game. Kicking and dealing is Eminer. Chopper to third, right into the glove of Galaney, who makes the soft throw over to first. And keeping his foot on the bag was Tobias as he went over to foul territory to make the catch.
That was a good play from Tobias, almost doing the lunge with his right leg straightening out his left leg, dipping towards foul territory. Good play from the Sun Devil over at first.
Owen Carpellotti takes the ball high, a lefty-lefty matchup for Carpellotti, who had a really good at-bat against Martinez in the second. It was second and third with 2 outs, and he forced a 7-pitch walk Had loaded the bases at the time. The 1-0 is smacked into right. In comes McCoy. He won't get it. It drops in front of him. A single for Carpellotti. His second time on base, his first hit of the night, comes here in the fourth with 1 out.
Really good start for Carp. You mentioned it. Decided to show his patience and his plate discipline in a second inning to load the bases for Orleans. Drew Farreau couldn't capitalize there. Has an opportunity to right those wrongs with a bit of a longer at bat here 2 innings later.
1 out, runner on first is Carpellotti. Farreau takes the first pitch ball outside. Last time Farreau started a 2-for-4 day with a double and a single. Also hit the ball hard in the second with bases loaded, but right at the right fielder, McCoy. Carpellotti singles to right. Farreau up 1-0 in the count against Eminer. Pitch is low, 2-0 to the switch hitter. Played baseball at UCF last year, transferring to Florida State in the fall. 8 hits for the year for Farreau with 1 extra base hit. Swings and misses at 2-0. He went fishing at a changeup low.
Florida State means a lot to Farreau. He's a Tallahassee native, went to Florida State University School for high school, and his father, Adam, played for the Noles back in the late 90s.
A little bit of family history. The 2-1 from the lefty is popped foul.
And Adam didn't just play for that team. He played for that team. He was so good that he ended up playing a little bit professionally in both the Red Sox and Brewers organizations at the minor league level. Farreau hoping to have a professional career as well and a great freshman season at UCF.
The 2-2 to the right. He is popped in a left. Back goes Will. Still going back. Makes the catch. More hard contact for Drew Farreau, but into the glove of the outfielder, this time in left. Carpellotti retreats back to first with 2 outs, and Joe Oyama coming up to bat.
He's just waiting to break out offensively. Reminds me a lot of somebody, unfortunately, we haven't talked a lot about recently because he left the team after tearing it up. Andy Blake. He was hitting the ball hard, sending line drives to the outfield left and right to start the year, but was only one for his first 12 because sometimes that happens in baseball. Farreau, each of his last 2 swings could have gone down for extra base hits, but both of them snagged by corner outfielders.
Oyama, but 2 outs, squares around a bunt, pulls it back on a high curveball from Eminer. Carpellotti at first after a 1-out walk. Still tied 1-1, top 4 between Orleans and Cotuit. The lefty Oyama up for the 3rd time today. Came up in the 3rd, 1-0 is a strike. Triple to right field and came all the way around to score on the same play after Josh Pine, the second baseman on the relay, threw it away right past the third baseman Galaney. Came around and scored after the throw to the catcher Loma Vito was low. The 1-1 fouled back.
Nearly an inside the park home run. Would have been his first of the season. But Joe Oyama extending an unbelievable on-base streak. It's 18 games in a row ever since his second game with the Birds that he's reached.
1-2 the count. Another lefty-lefty matchup. Pop foul, third base side out of play. Giving a look was Wills, but he'll retreat.
And it's pretty impressive that Oyama leads Orleans in on-base plus slugging at .984 headed into tonight without a home run. Not a player reliant on the long ball, but instead just putting the ball in play and using his speed to get extra base hits.
There's a little power in there. The 1-2 is popped into right, shallow. Moving over as the center fielder, Matheson. He'll make the catch in right center field for out number 3. We stay tied 1-1 between the Firebirds and the Kettleers on the Birds Broadcast Network as we go to the bottom of the 4th. We go bottom 4 on the Birds Broadcasting Network. Still tied 1-1 between Cotuit and the Firebirds. The Kettleers scored their run in the bottom of the second. Firebirds came right back. They scored their run from Joe Oyama in the top of the third. Bottom 4 now. Dylan Jacobs back to the mound. Will face 2, 3, 4 in the Kettleers order. Galaney, Mathis, and Wills. 4 hits for the Birds, 1 hit for Cotuit. Galaney looks at a first pitch fastball right down the middle from Jacobs, who had a really good third inning. A strikeout and 2 groundouts. One that he took all the way himself to first base on a chopper to the right side.
Good athlete. Big long strides.
Big curveball that's fouled away at 73. Galaney flew out to right in the first inning on a great catch from Fenwick Trimble.
And Jacobs was a highly touted recruit coming out of TNXL Academy in Central Florida. Top 35 overall player coming out of his state.
The 0-2 is low. That says a lot. I mean, what is top 30 out of Montana versus top 30 out of Florida when we're talking about baseball? That's top tier. That's really a great accomplishment.
He was a top 250 recruit in the country because, again, Florida is a baseball powerhouse.
The 1-2 to Galaney. Fastball that's popped up in play in fair territory. Back goes the first baseman, making the catch is Hall back on the outfield grass for the first out of the inning.
Not an easy guy to keep quiet is Galaney. Leads Cotuit and runs batted in. Well, technically that is still owned by Brett Bateman, the Minnesota Star, but he's no longer on the team. And now 0 for 2 tonight with a fly out and a pop out.
Cole Mathis flew out in the first. Comes up for the second time today. Fastball. Did he check a swing? No, he didn't. It's a strike on a 90-mile-per-hour fastball inside, but the swing allows Jacobs to go up 0-1 in the count. 1 out, nobody on of a tie game. The 0-1, another fastball right down the middle for a strike. This time up to 91 goes Jacobs. 0-2 to Mathis. With 1 out. The pitch from Jacobs is low. Went to the changeup, dropped it about 10 miles per hour to 81. Pitch count's in a really good position. 47. This will be pitch number 48 in the fourth. After a tough outing last time against Hyannis, looking to get back on track. Galaney pulls it foul. Left field side out of play.
Mathis, he's got such a beautiful swing. And for somebody who's a 2A and is pitched and hit both here on the Cape, he's having a fantastic summer.
1-2, 1 out. Another foul ball left field side out of play. It only takes up 1 roster spot as well, Ian, because he does both and brings so much to the table. I mean, we can get to the Ohtani conversation if we're talking about 2-way guys. 1-2, 1 out. Curveball, swing and a miss.
Funny you say that, Dylan. He plays at the College of Charleston. His nickname there, Colhay.
Colhay. So like Shohei, but Colhay.
Yes, and that's not made up. I didn't just say that just to say that. That is legitimately his nickname because of obviously Shohei Ohtani. The modern day Babe Ruth, the modern day, whatever you want to call him for the Los Angeles Angels. He's an alien. He is the best player on the planet.
Brock Wills takes the curveball high. Of course, Shohei is going to get upwards of 500, 600, maybe even $700 million. He's a free agent this offseason. Cole Mathis would take maybe 700,000. Not too bad.
Well, he's only a rising junior at the College of Charleston, so somebody I'm sure is getting a lot of traction in MLB scouting circles, but not over the next few days. Next summer, around this time, he should be getting a lot of attention.
The 2-0 at 2 outs is high and away. 3-0 to Wills. He's playing left field tonight. 3 for 4 last time out against Hyannis 2 days ago because of the fog out yesterday against Chatham. It's been a tough day for fog, not only for Cotuit, but also a team close to here in Falmouth. 3-0, top of the zone, fastball for a strike.
Yeah, this West Division, I understand that Cotuit has a commanding lead, but Falmouth has got a lot of great bats, although they sit in the cellar of the division.
The 3-1 is inside, ball 4. Wills will take off his ankle guard and head to first base with a 2-out walk in the fourth.
first walk handed out by Dylan Jacobs today after he issued 3 free passes in just over 3 innings of work in his last start on Monday against Hyannis. But to get back to that West Division talk, I think Falmouth can make a serious run at the division this month. They're going to have to play very good, but they've shown they can. And I think Bourne, the defending champs, they've got a lot better since a tough start to the season.
Loma Vida takes low. I think you're spot on, Ian. Everyone in this West Division has something they're really good at. Wareham, of course, puts up upwards of 8-9 runs every single night, it seems like. Falmouth has got onto a little bit of a winning streak, now winning 6 of their last 8. The 1-0 is driven into right center field. Over goes Tuft and makes the catch on the run. Saving an extra base hit and maybe a run for Cotuit. Colin Tuft shows off his glove in the 4th to keep it a tie game, 1-1, as we go to break on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Top of the 5th on the Birds Broadcast Network here from a cloudy Lowell Park on a Sunday night. Thanks so much for joining us. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Tied at 1 apiece. 2, 3, and 4 due up for Orleans. It starts with the designated hitter. Transferring to Pepperdine after 2 seasons with Virginia, Justin Rubin. He faces Austin Eminer. Just finished up his senior season at East Tennessee State, making his Cape Cod Baseball League debut. He's got 5 outs coming out of a bullpen for Mike Roberts' crew. The lefty deals to the righty Rubin and misses outside with the 82-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch, 1-0.
Rubin has hit the ball hard 2 times tonight, 1 to center and 1 to right.
On the 1-0, he takes at a miss upstairs, 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Eminer, which at times with the Macon Bacon in a Coastal Plains League over the last 2 summers has touched 95 miles an hour. 2 balls, no strikes. This time the fastball drops high in the zone. 2-1. Rubin still ahead as he stares down home plate umpire Arturo Belmonte. Wants a quick word before hopping back into a right-handed batter's box. Leading off for Orleans in the top of the 5th of a tied game at 1 apiece. Eminer's 2-1 also lands high in the zone for strike 2 and evens the count 2-2, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Eminer has really found the zone after he started his debut and outing with 2 straight walks.
A strike away from retiring Rubin for his 6th out of his outing. The 2-2 misses high, can't do it, and the count is full to the Pennsylvania native Justin Rubin, wearing the white arm sleeve on his right arm, the white and black batting gloves. Nobody on, nobody out. 1-1 game, top 5. Here's the payoff. Upstairs, ball 4. You mentioned finding the strike zone. Eminer unable to do it on that at bat. A 6-pitch leadoff walk for Rubin, who continues to be an on-base machine early on during his time with Orleans. And due to a lack of control there from Eminer, his night might be over. Cotuit manager Mike Roberts makes his way to the mound to have a word with one of the newest additions to this team, Austin Eminer. The whole infield in. And an arm making his way out of a bullpen just near left field here from Lowell Park. We'll be back in just a moment. 1 on, nobody out after the leadoff walk for Justin Rubin. But go-ahead run on the base path for Orleans when we come back on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the top of the fifth. Tied at 1 apiece, but after a leadoff walk for Orleans is Justin Rubin. Austin Eminer, the first option out of a bullpen tonight for Cotuit, is out. And Dylan, a familiar name, one of the better relievers in all of the Cape this summer, Miami's Rafe Schlesinger.
Yes, back in, leads the team in appearances, and also can go upwards of 3 2/3 innings. That's his longest appearance against Hyannis on the 21st of June, right here at Lowell Park. He pitched innings 5 through 7 and was really good, including 5 strikeouts.
The 6'4" lefty from Stony Brook, New York, was a first pitch ball to the left-handed first baseman Jack Penny. 1 on, nobody out. He deals and Penny whiffs at an 88-mile-an-hour offering low of the zone, and the count to sticks even. A ball and a strike, with Rubin taking his lead once again off first.
Another lefty out of the Cotuit bullpen. 3 pitchers, 3 lefties.
And 2 of the next 3 for Orleans in the batting order. Jack Penny and Eddie Micheletti batting 5th, left-handed. On deck, Matt Hallback, a righty. 2 balls and a strike to Penny in this ACC battle between Notre Dame and Miami. The 2-1 lands high in the zone for strike 2, looking at a count now even of a Wakefield, Massachusetts native, who's 0 for 1 tonight, flew out to center in the first and walked in the third. But now his first time facing Rafe Schlesinger, whose 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3. First strikeout and first out period for Rafe Schlesinger out of a bullpen in his 9th appearance of the summer for Cotuit. Still looks sharp.
Looks really good, and the all-speed slider gets Penny right there. Not only is he really good against lefties, but also can just bring his sweeper all the way across against righties.
Deals to the righty and lands a pitch low and in. That's called strike 1 to Matt Hallback. 1 on, 1 out. Justin Rubin on first. He deals the 0-1. Crack towards second. And the throw to second for 1. Now the throw to first. It's not in time. Matt Hallback beats it out. Reaches on a field. Forced out at second. 1 still at first. 2 away. Comes to the plate.
Hallback, really good hot
Ball, a comebacker that hits Dylan Jacobs in the lower right leg, and his outing abruptly comes to an end. 1 on, 1 out, 1-1, bottom 5. The new pitcher in the ballgame for Orleans. We'll tell you who it is when we come back on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back in the bottom of the fifth on the Birds Broadcast Network. Thanks so much for joining us from Lowell Park. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Grant Norris, the shortstop for Cotuit, just reached on an infield single, only the second hit tonight for the Kettleers. His ground ball went right back towards the mound and hit Orleans' starting pitcher, Dylan Jacobs, low in his right leg. He immediately fell to the grass in the infield and needed help coming off the field. Could not put a lot of pressure on that right leg. Kelly Nicholson called for the bullpen. And Dylan, he calls upon Ivan Romero, the right-handed pitcher from San Diego. Not UC San Diego, the University of San Diego. And it's his second season out here on the Cape.
Yes, thank you for clarifying, Ian. He was with YD last year. He actually ended the season of the Firebirds last season. He pitched in Game 2 of the playoff series, and he pitched really well. He was a starting pitcher in that win. He's been a summer ball guy, a 2.2 ERA last season at YD. 2 summers ago, a .6068 ERA in 28 innings in the Northwoods League.
The right-handed Romero faces Josh Pine, the second baseman from Indiana, and first pitch is fouled off towards the right side of the field. 0-1. Pine struck out looking his first time up against Dylan Jacobs, but Jacobs forced out of the game due to a lower leg injury, and now it's Ivan Romero. And this pitch is smoked down the right field line, and it drops fair for a base hit. On his way to third is Grant Norris. He stopped there, and it's a one-out double for Josh Pine. Not a great start for Romero out of a bullpen in his first action since his junior season concluded with San Diego. Third hit of a night for Cotuit. Back-to-back hits off 2 different pitchers.
Well, Ian, it's so difficult because Romero wasn't even warming up. He didn't even know, am I coming in? Jacobs was rolling. So Romero had to come in. He has to get warmed up on the mound to get as many pitches as he'd like. And then he has to come in and face the best team in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and it's not easy. See if he can get out of it, though. Infield in.
Faces the left-handed right fielder, James McCoy. 2 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Low and in, strike 1 to McCoy, who grounded out to short his first time up in the third. Wearing the black arm sleeve on his right arm in the white pinstripe jersey with the maroon lettering and the blue trim. 2 on, 1 out. Runners on second and third for Cotuit. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses low. Evens the count. Runner on third is Grant Norris. He singled. His ball hit the foot of Dylan Jacobs, forced him to come out of a game. Rushed Ivan Romero out of a bullpen onto the mound, who just gave up a double to Josh Pine. The 1-1 in the dirt, blocked up by Carpellotti. Ball 2 on the 90-mile-an-hour offering, and Carp with a big block to keep Norris at third.
Big backstop here in Cotuit. A run definitely going to score if it gets past Carp.
Runners on second and third, 1 out. Infield in for Orleans. Tied game at 1 apiece. 2 balls and a strike. On the lower third, just low of the zone from Romero, who falls behind even farther, 3-1. And now the bottom man of the order, McCoy, a ball away from loading the bases. Norris off third, Pine off second. Infield in, 3-1 pitch. In the zone, strike 2 looking. McCoy waves around the wand outside the left-handed batter's box. Has a quick word and chuckles at home plate umpire Arturo Belmonte. Romero gets the call from Carpellotti. 2 on, 1 out. Payoff pitch. Swung on, missed. Down to one knee is McCoy. A big-time K in his first inning of work for Orleans. But Romero needs 1 more out with second and third here in a 1-1 game in the bottom of the fifth.
That was I got my best fastball, and I'm going to put it right on you for strike 3. But now an intentional walk.
Kelly Nicholson decides to intentionally walk the leadoff batter, Carter Matheson. Dylan, the IU star, has been red hot as of late. 0 for 2 tonight, and now playing the matchup game, the righty and Romero now going to face another righty in Ryan Galaney.
And what did he do last time against the Firebirds with bases loaded?
A grand slam against Nate Ward in a 5-2 win for Cotuit here from Lowell Park. Takes the first pitch against Romero, low. 1-0, another 90-mile-an-hour offering from a reliever who was a Cape League All-Star a season ago. with Yarmouth Dennis, a 2.20 ERA in 6 appearances and 3 starts. Pitched 16 and a third for the Red Sox. Bases loaded, 2 out, 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch on the outer half, 1-1 to Galaney, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Flew out to right in the first, popped out in the fourth. Norris off third, Pine off second. He doubled. Matheson, who was just intentionally walked, shoes on his fingers at first base. The 1-1. Breaking ball in the outer half, just misses. To the right-handed Galaney, 2-1. Tied game, 1 apiece. 2 hits and an intentional walk. That's how Cotuit is loaded the bases, trying to retake the lead. The new pitcher in the game making his Firebirds debut, Ivan Romero. 2 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. High fly, left center field. This one is absolutely crushed over the head of Eddie Micheletti. And again, it's another grand slam for Ryan Galaney. Cotuit with a grand slam in the bottom of the 5th from Ryan Galaney takes the lead 5-1. The Wofford Star does it again to Orleans as the Tides have turned from Lowell Park.
A 2-1 pitch that Galaney gets all of to left center field. You walk Matheson to load the bases, and that's what you get. A bases-loaded home run. Now up to 16 RBIs is Galaney with 4 home runs.
That's what Galaney does. Hit his last home run on the first against Harwich, his second against Orleans, and now Romero faces Cole Mathis, who chops one to Jack Penny at third on the second pitch of the at-bat. Backhanded by Matt Hallback at first, that ends the inning. Ryan Galaney against Orleans is something else. In each of the last 2 meetings, he's hit a grand slam in the middle of the game off the bullpen that has changed the tide in the ballgame. In Orleans, now down 5-1 after 5. Your return in the top of the 6th on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm Sammy Miller. The Kettleers are currently up 5-1, heading to the top of the 6th. Now, after getting hit by the ball in the right ankle, Dylan Jacobs is unable to put any weight on it and is currently getting examined by the Firebirds training staff. They're going through a few tests to see how bad the pain is, and will wrap up the ankle with an ACE compression bandage, as well as ice and elevation, and crutches have been brought over to Jacobs. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with him, and I'll keep you updated with any more updates to come. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. A really unfortunate sequence in the bottom of the 5th. We start the top of the 6th on the Birds Broadcast Network, 5-1. Cotuit in the lead. Rafe Schlesinger still on the mound for the Kets, and Fenwick Trimble leads off for the Birds. The 6-hitter is 0 for 2 tonight with a fly out and a ground out. He gets ahead 1-0. Schlesinger the lefty, Trimble the righty. 4 hits for both teams, but 1 hit counted for 4 runs. A grand slam for Ryan Galaney, as it's now a ball and a strike to Fenwick Trimble. And it all started with that ground ball, a comebacker, Dylan, from Grant Norris in the bottom of the 5th, which hit Dylan Jacobs in his lower right foot and led to the offensive onslaught. The 1-1 pitch fouled away, now 1-2.
That was, of course, in the 5th. I think the turning point to this game was actually last time Fenwick Trimble came to the plate. Remember, it was a 1-1 game, 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. Trimble had a nice hit to right field because the second baseman Pine was moving over to cover the bag. Micheletti stole, and Trimble's hit and run that was inches away from working.
There's a ground ball that gets past the hands of shortstop Grant Norris and into left field. A leadoff single for Fenwick Trimble, who now has a hit in 4 straight games.
Good hit from Fenwick, but as I was saying, it hit Eddie Micheletti Jr. That ended the inning 1-1. Can't hold down Cotuit to 1 run the entire game. They were going to break out eventually, and Galaney was the man to do it.
Galaney, who has now hit grand slams in each of his last 2 games against Cotuit, the Kettleers, a league-leading 20 home runs on the season, and 2 of them grand slams from Galaney. That is now 3 grand slams for Cotuit in the last 14 games.
Unbelievable. A team that's just having a storybook season so far.
Trying to improve to 17-7, 9-3 here from Lowell Park. A 5-1 lead for the Cats with 1 on, nobody out after a leadoff single from Fenwick Trimble. It's no balls and a strike to Colin Tuft, who pops one the other way foul. The right-handed hitter. Foul ball to right field. 0-2. Tuft has had a great night. Doubled in the second, playing a great center field. Grounded out to third in the 4th.
Made a lot of really good defensive plays as well in the outfield.
Couple of great catches in his first start in center field for the Birds. The 0-2 pitch is hit to left center. Ranging towards his left is Brock Willis. It drops down for a base hit. Fenwick Trimble on his way to third. He is going to get the sign from Max Fesky. Here's the throw to the plate. Loma Vida for tag. It's not in time. RBI double for Colin Tuft, and the Birds respond. Loma Vida is stunned. 5-2. Orleans fires back after the grand slam from Ryan Galaney. Still trails 3 runs in the top of the 6th. Dylan, we've seen wild calls at the plate here from Lowell Park before.
Yeah, and the Firebirds, who are kind of digging their way down into a deficit, down 5-1, get a double from Tuft to second of the game. Trimble ran through a late stop sign from third base coach Max Fesky. Got to home. Also, this wasn't Belmonte's call at the plate.
Yes, it came from first baseman Marvick Gomez.
Yeah, it was Gomez over at first. He had to rotate to the plate because Belmonte was over at third, seeing if there was going to be a play there. Good job by Gomez to come to the plate and call that play. Loma Vida was in shock.
Loma Vida, the second-year Kettleer, screamed in anger. He thought he got the tag down in time on a sliding Trimble. Tuft now on second. Owen Carpellotti swinging a foul tip into the glove of Loma Vida. Now a ball and a strike into a left-handed catcher, and Dylan, that was a great slide from Trimble to avoid a good tag on a good throw from left field from Brock Wills.
It was a great job. Willis threw to Galaney, who was the cutoff man, and then they threw home, and Loma Vida tagged him around the chest, but Trimble didn't use and slide feet first. He slid feet first, but almost off home plate, he tagged home plate with his hand.
Swing and a miss at a pitch in the dirt from Schlesinger. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Carpellotti. Runner on second is Colin Tuft, who just drove in his first run as a Firebird with his second double of the game. A well-hit ball to left center field, which allowed Fenwick Trimble to score. The 2-2 popped up along the left side of the infield, backpedaling his third baseman, Ryan Galaney. He makes the catch in his left-handed glove. First out of the inning.
A wacky game once again. But Tuft with another double. I think that was big, but they got to bring him home. You got 1, and that's good after a 4 spot by Cotuit, but we're getting into the later innings here. We're in the 6th. You got to drive home a guy on second base with nobody out.
Here's Drew Farreau. First pitch he sees is hit the opposite way to right. Ranging towards his left is McCoy, and he does not make the play. A single, and now stopping at third is Tuft. He's hit the ball hard tonight. Farreau has a couple flyouts. This time it gets down in front of McCoy for a base hit. Third hit of the inning for Orleans. 7th on the game, who now has runners on the corners with 1 out. Back to the top of the order with Joe Oyama.
That's baseball, baby. Farreau hits the ball twice really hard. He gets out as it went right to the fielders. He hits that ball a little blooper behind first base. It gets down. So runners on the corners now with 1 out.
Been a few days since you said that line.
Got to bring it back.
Tying run at the plate as the lefty Oyama takes a ball low and in from Schlesinger. 80 miles an hour on the off-speed pitch, 1-0. Tuft on third in this 5-2 game in favor of the Kettleers in the top of the sixth. He had an RBI double, Drew Furrow at first after a single to right. 1-0, also low of the zone. 2 balls and no strikes to Oyama, who popped out to short in the first, tripled and scored a run in the third, and flew out to center in the fourth.
Oyama's got to do what he can here to get this runner in. Get a ball to the outfield.
The 2-0 pitch. Strike on the outside corner. 2-1 on the 79-mile-an-hour off-speed offering from the rising junior out of Miami, Florida, Rafe Schlesinger. The most dependable arm out of a bullpen this summer for Mike Roberts' team. Deals the 2-1 on the ground towards first. Pops out of a glove of McLean. He can't make the play at home, so instead he tries to tag out Oyama, and he does at first. But it goes down as an RBI ground out as Colin Tuft scores from third, and Orleans with its second run of the inning. Still down 5-3, top six. Tuft gave some words to Justin Rubin, his former UVA teammate, before he steps into the right-handed batter's box.
Great job by Oyama. Gets the ball in play. It looked like a double play ball. Tobias came down on it, but it was hit a little bit too hard for him, so he only could block it with his body. Couldn't throw to second. Got the easy out at first, but another run in for the Firebirds as they look to claw their way back.
And another runner in scoring position, too, as Drew Furrow on the RBI ground out from Joe Oyama on that hard-hit ground ball to first base. Slides over to second. A ball and no strikes of a right-handed Rubin, who takes the ball, and the ball gets away from Wilma Vida behind the dish. Dribbles towards his left. He can't recover, and Furrow moves to third in the process after he singled to right just a few minutes ago.
He's 90 feet away. Puts the idea of a wild pitch or a pass ball in the mind of this battery for Cotuit. Some cracks in the armor of Schlesinger tonight.
He's behind an account 2-0. That's a strike on the outside corner that Rubin isn't a massive fan of, but still ahead 2-1 in the count. Orleans in the red camo vests, cut off at the sleeves, and the red undershirts. The 2-1 pitch, low and in, ball 3. 1 on, 2 out. Furrow, who singled off a third. The tying run at the plate in a 5-3 game. Cotuit leads, but has allowed 2 runs here in the top of the 6th. 3-1, gets through the hole and in the right field. Rubin, an RBI single. Drew Furrow touches home plate, and the Birds within 1. 3 runs off 4 hits for Orleans, trying to overcome the 4-run blast, the grand slam from Ryan Galaney last inning, and Dylan, the Birds showing their resiliency.
That's the word I was about to use. They let up 4 in the bottom of the 5th. They come back with a 3 spot and a little bit more to work with as well. Great 2-out hitting for the Firebirds.
Check swing from Jack Penny. Gets a piece of the bat, and the left-handed third baseman goes behind 0-1. The Birds stringing this together, an RBI double from Colin Tuft, an RBI ground out from Joe Oyama, and a run-scoring single from Justin Rubin, who's off first with 2 out. 5-4 game, Cotuit leads. Penny chops one fair, and of a glove of Tobias at first, he retreats to the first base bag, forces out Penny, and leaves a runner stranded for Orleans and Justin Rubin. The vibes were not high for the Birds faithful after a grand slam from Ryan Galaney in the bottom of the 5th, but Orleans with 4 hits puts up 3 runs of its own in the top of the 6th, and now only trails 1. Cotuit still ahead 5-4. We go to the bottom of the 6th on the Birds Broadcast Network. They do everything from Cotuit Park Cotuit Park. Well, it's the park of the Cotuit Kettleers. It's called Lowell Park. A t-shirt toss to the Cotuit faithful, but this game has been tossed around in terms of momentum. Like what I did there, Dylan?
I did.
5-4, Cotuit leads. It was just a 1-1 game going into the bottom of the fifth. Then a grand slam from Ryan Galaney. Orleans responds in the top of the sixth with 3 run scoring at bats from Colin Tuff to Joe Oyama and Justin Rubin to slice the deficit to 1. Ivan Romero back on the rubber for his first full inning of work. And he faces 4-5-6. It starts with the left fielder, Brock Wills. The right-hander deals to the lefty and misses low 1-0.
Romero has to wash away what happened last frame and come back against the meat of this order and try to throw up a 0.
The 1-0 pitch, popped foul the opposite way towards left field and out of the park. 1-1. Romero gave up a double to Josh Pine, but struck out James McCoy. Then back to the top of the order, Carter Matheson was intentionally walked before Ryan Galaney hit a home run, good for a grand slam over the left field wall. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball in for strike 2 on the outer half. Bases empty, nobody out, as Wills, the 4-hitter, leads off for Cotuit in the bottom of the 6th. Paquette's up 5-4. The 1-2 pitch, in for strike 3 looking. That's the second strikeout in a full inning of work for Ivan Romero, who has come into a sticky situation, replacing an injured Dylan Jacobs, and finally seems to have settled in here in the bottom of the 6th.
Such a presence on the mound. Of course, we mentioned his Cape Cod League experience. The job for the bullpen now is to just throw up zeros and let this offense continue to work with a runner on deficit.
Romero, a role reversal, pitched for Yarmouth Dennis last summer and got the win in the final game of the season for Orleans. Oh no, Ivan Romero deals a pitch that hits the left arm of Caleb Lomavita. Good news, after hopping around near home plate, he trots over to first. It appears to be okay, but a fastball that ran up and in to Lomavita gets a piece of his left arm, and he seems to be all right.
Not a good facial expression, like Ian was saying, out of Lomavita when it first hit him, but he seems to be all right. Romero just let that one get away from him.
That's the first free pass handed out by Romero. Also an intentional walk chucked in there for Carter Matheson. He now faces the first baseman, Jacob Tobias, who grounds one to first. Matt Holbach throws his second for 1, Farrow to first for 2, and Orleans gets it. A double play to get out of the inning. After plunking Caleb Lomavita, Jacob Tobias sends one in the direction of Matt Holbach and pays the price. A quick inning for Orleans to keep it a 1-run game as we go to the top of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network. The score is still 5-4 in favor of the Cotuit. The Birds Broadcast Network, and what has been a wild game from Lowell Park. And Dylan, it gets a little bit crazier. 5-4, Cotuit leads. An insane Bottom of the fifth, top of a sixth stretch in which 7 runs were scored between these two teams. The new pitcher in the game trying to slow down the momentum for Orleans after 3 runs scored by the Birds in the top of the sixth. And it's Cole Mathis, the designated hitter. He's called Cole Hay for a reason at the College of Charleston. It's because the two-way now toes the rubber.
Yes, so it'll be a 9-man lineup for Cotuit still. And usually when this happens, when they bring in a position player to pitch, they lose the DH, but Mathis is the DH. So he'll be able to hit, I believe, as well in the lineup. But we talked about it, he's a two-way, and his pitching so far has been really good. 11 innings, 14 strikeouts, a 4.9 ERA, but in all appearances, he's allowed 2 runs or less. He's gone all the way from 2 innings to 4 innings. He can give a little bit of length for Mike Roberts' crew. And he last pitched 8 days ago at Harwich in a 3-2 loss.
Pitched 11 innings this past season. Or I should say, he's pitched 11 innings this summer with Cotuit, 60 innings pitched with Charleston in the spring. A big curveball lands on the inner half of the plate for strike one looking. To Matt Hallback, the righty, faces the right-handed DH-turned pitcher, Cole Mathis, whose fastball is blasted foul down the left field line, and quickly Hallback falls behind 0-2. Hallback 0 for 2 tonight. Technically 0 for 1. He flew out in the second, walked in the third, reached on a fielder's choice in the fifth. Did the right-handed first baseman. Mathis, the 0-2 pitch on the way. Curveball misses low. 1-2.
Such an interesting ideology. He has to go up. He has 2 at-bats, 3 at-bats tonight. Now he's on the mound in a 1-run game, protecting the league that he helped build.
The 1-2 pitch. Upstairs 2-2. Creating your own run support. As that fastball dialed up at 95, but missing high. As Hallback has worked the count even, leading off for Orleans in the top of the 7th. 2-2 is blooped right in front of the second baseman who throws the first in time. A 4-3 put out between Josh Pine at second and Jacob Tobias at first. And the two-way puts one away in the top of the 7th. 5-4, Cotuit still in front.
Mathis, he's done it all. Bats from the right side, pitches from the right side. It's been a weird game, like you said, Ian. Only 4 hits for Cotuit. They've gotten runners on through walks, through defensive errors. And they have the lead, even though they have 4 less hits.
First pitch swinging is the left-handed Eddie Micheletti against the righty Mathis. He goes behind 0-1 with a foul ball. Been a crazy game. Mathis, not a lot of success from the plate tonight. 0 for 3 with a fly out, a strikeout, and a ground out. His 0-1 in the dirt, misses a glove of Loma Vida. 1-1 with the bases empty and 1 away. Trying to have a little bit more success on the mound. 5-4 game, Cotuit in the lead, 4 of its runs off a grand slam. 1-1 misses outside with the heater. 2-1. The grand slam happened in probably the craziest fashion ever. 2-1, another broken bat for Micheletti. Drops one in the right, base hit. Micheletti continues to get it done. His second hit of the night. And his first since the second inning. A 1-out single. Orleans 9 knocks on the evening.
Great job by Micheletti. Stays within the middle of the field again. Might not be off the barrel, but gets it a little bit off the hands and drives it to center. What the Firebirds need are to continue to get runners on base. They've had really good power tonight. A lot of extra base hits for the Birds. They need runners on to drive them in.
Fenwick Trimble trying to drive in Eddie Micheletti. He takes the pitch for a ball. Fastball at the knees at 94 miles an hour from Mathis. 1-0. Orleans more than twice as many hits than Cotuit, but still trails a run on the scoreboard. 5-4. Top 7. The 1-0 jams up Trimble for ball 2. He doesn't take. He does take. Actually, that was called a strike. 1-1.
Foul ball. He tried to hold up, but it hit his bat.
An unlucky break. It hits the knob of the bat for Fenwick Trimble. The rising junior from James Madison from Virginia Beach, Virginia. 1 on, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Curveball in for strike 2 looking. 79-mile-an-hour offering with a lot of movement for Mathis. Packed house from Lowell Park tonight. Cloudy. 1-2 pitch. Hit in right field. High in the sky. Trying to drop in the gap. It does. Eddie Micheletti stops at second. Stumbled on his way to third. Trimble. A 1-out single. And back-to-back hits. Both singles for Trimble. Both of them in the last 2 innings.
Great job by Trimble, and that's number 10 in terms of hits for the Firebirds tonight. They get to double digits for the 3rd time in 5 games. Trimble just laid it out there, got a barrel out, and blooped it into right center field. Got down in front of Matheson and McCoy. And now Tuft is up, and Colin Tuft has had some type of night. 2 doubles already for Tuft, including an RBI knock in the 6th.
He comes up with runners on first and second and 1 out. 5-4 Cotuit. And he gets hit by a pitch. He tries to shake it off. It got it maybe his left arm or the left side of his chest. And now words being exchanged between Mike Roberts in the dugout and Cole Mathis out on the mound. Bit of a confusing situation, but all we do know is the bases are loaded. Dylan, what did you see there?
I saw that. I think Roberts is saying that he leaned into it. It might have also hit his bat. It was a long pause between Cotuit and arguing with the umpires. It seemed like they saw, and of course Tuft is a right-handed batter, that it went off maybe a part of the bat. The ball came toward us on the right field side of home plate. The umpires are going to meet. I think that the only guy who had a good view of it is the home plate umpire Arturo Belmonte, and he ruled it by pitch.
Arturo Belmonte behind the dish. Marvick Gomez at first. Mikey Hinojosa at third. This is a big call in this game.
Oh, a huge call. Could load the bases for Drew Farreau, who's had a great day today.
He's hit a couple balls hard. He singled his last time up in the 6th. The umpires now making their way towards Kelly Nicholson, the longtime Orleans manager who comes out of the dugout on the right side of the field. As it stands right now, the bases are loaded. Eddie Micheletti on third, Fenwick Trimble on second. Both of them with hits off a new pitcher in the game, Cole Mathis, who started this night as only designated hitter. And Colin Tuft hit by a pitch in the right-handed batter's box.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's Dylan's reaction because the ruling on the field has just been overturned. Dylan, this isn't the first time this has happened this season in New Orleans. If you remember, in a loss to Bourne on the road from Durham Park, Fenwick Trimble was apparently hit by a pitch, but then that got overruled. This is just unlucky.
I don't know if unlucky is the word. Just it's things like this that happen, and that you're playing a top team like Cotuit, and bases loaded with 1 out would be great after Colin Tuft gets hit by a pitch. Things just don't go your way, and it feels like that's happened for the Firebirds over the last week a little bit more than usual.
So the count now 0-1. That was a foul ball off the knob of the bat. Maybe you got a piece of Tuft's sand. Maybe it didn't. It made a loud sound. Micheletti back to second. Trimble back to first. 0-1 pitch misses low, and Tuft evens the count. Trying to extend a great night. The rising junior transferring to Tulane, doubled in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th, and another double. This one on the ground towards short. Throw over to third, and it's wide of the bag. Eddie Micheletti, he's on his way home. There's no throw. He's in there standing up, and Orleans has tied the game. Fenwick Trimble to third. Colin Tuft reaches first. What should have been a routine play, Grant Norris at short over to Ryan Galaney at third, and Dylan, he missed him. And Eddie Micheletti ties his thing at 5.
Like you said, Ian, that is as routine as it gets. On the backhand to Norris, probably no chance he throws out Tuft at first base, so he goes to the force out at third. Galaney was standing right there, would have got an easy force out at third with Trimble running to it, and he just missed him completely. It hit off the fencing of the dugout of Cotuit, and we're tied, and Firebirds are 90 feet away from taking the lead.
Runners on the corners, 1 out, and now the left-handed Owen Carpellotti swings at the first pitch he sees and goes behind 0-1. That's his 2nd error on the game for Cotuit, and a costly one at that, as the shortstop Norris tried to force out Fenwick Trimble, or rather Eddie Micheletti at third. Missed the throw to Ryan Galaney, and Micheletti scored. 0-1, here's the pitch. Carpellotti shows bunt, pulls it back. Fastball misses the outside corner, 1-1.
I actually love that idea to bunt here. I know Carp had a single tonight back in the 4th, but to bunt here and get a lead with how good the Orleans bullpen has been would be big. Safety or suicide squeeze? That's the question.
Trimble 90 feet away from a score at third. Showing bunt again, Carpellotti. Pulling it back again, this time taking a strike. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-2. Carp has reached twice tonight. Walked in the second, singled in the fourth, popped out to third in the sixth. And the infield now playing in for Cotuit with runners on the corners and 1 out. Ball and 2 strikes. Carpellotti popped up, foul territory, left field side, trying to make the play over his shoulders. Galaney, he does. And it was in shallow enough territory, pretty close to third base, that Trimble did not take off for home. He stays at third. Tuft stays at first. That's out number 2.
Unfortunate event there, as Tuft was on the move as well with 2 strikes. And the infield was in. Galaney was on the grass right there expecting maybe another bunt from Carpellotti. He had to turn his body, start running backwards in a foul territory. He made a really good play to get the second out. Unfortunate for Orleans.
Farrow, the bottom man of the order, takes the ball 1-0. The switch hitter, batting lefty, against the right-handed Cole Mathis. The designated hitter and two-way star from the College of Charleston, trying to keep things tied at 5 apiece. 2 on, 2 out. His 1-0 pitch. Misses low, blocked up by Loma Vida. 88-mile-an-hour offering in the dirt for ball 2.
Seems like Drew Farrow is just seeing the ball so much better now. He's taking pitches very well. He's not expanding the zone. I'm expecting very soon for Farrow to really unleash his power.
1 for 3 tonight with a single in the 6th. The 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball up and away. Ball 3. And Mathis a ball away from loading the bases. Nearly loaded the bases a few moments ago, as it appeared Colin Tuft got hit by a pitch. He eventually reached out an air and scoring from third, Eddie Micheletti. The 3-0 offering. Farrow takes, strike 1 looking. 78-mile-an-hour breaking ball in the lower third.
That's what you can tell to Mathis. A curveball on 3-0 means that's the pitch he trusts the most. Wow.
The go-ahead run on third. The 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball in the dirt. Gets the whip out of Farrow, and the count's full with 2 outs and 2 on, and a 5-5 game in the top of the 7th.
Curveball on 3-0. Curveball on 3-1 low. What does he throw here?
The full count offering on the way and hit right up the middle. Gloved and stepping on second in time. Grant Norris collides into a sliding Colin Tuft and beats him to the second base bag, as Orleans had runners on the corners with 2 out. And Drew Farrow put one right where Grant Norris was at short. A good play from the Penn State Nittany Lion to end another productive inning for Orleans. 4 runs in the last 2 frames for the Birds to eliminate the grand slam from Ryan Galaney in the bottom of the 5th. We're equalized as we go to the bottom of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 7th. Little stretching done from Lowell Park, although the music's still playing in the background. Not a lot of people singing, Dylan, because this has just been a weird game. A lot of runs scored in the last few innings. 4 for Orleans in the last 2. And even with that, the Birds have kind of left some on the table.
That's right. They have left 9 runners on base in a tie game. They have 6 more hits than Cotuit. It truly is just a game of missed opportunities. Once again, they've scored runs. Not if they're hitting a lot. It's been a lot of defensive mistakes by Cotuit. and also balls that have been thrown away. I mean, you look at the Oyama triple that he got to score on. Look at last inning where Micheletti came around to score the game-tying run on a ball that got away from the shortstop for Cotuit. In Norris, he tried to throw it to Galaney. It hit the dugout, and Micheletti scored the tying run. So we're tied, bottom 7, and a lot of things have gone on tonight.
Norris has the opportunity to right his wrongs. Has an error last inning from the Penn State star, an all Big Ten selection in the spring. An error led to an Eddie Micheletti score to tie the game at 5. He faces a new pitcher, Chase Hungate. His first pitch, low and in for a strike. 0-1. Hungate, a side armor, 6'1", 180 pounds. Just finished up his sophomore season at Virginia. 5-5 game, bottom 7. Hungate kicks and deals. Breaking ball is smoked, but foul. Right past Mike Roberts at third. And quickly 0-2 to Norris, who is 1 for 2 tonight with a fly out in the second and a single in the fifth. He eventually came around the score on the grand slam from Ryan Galaney that gave Cotuit the 5-1 lead.
Can he put the error to tie the game behind him and get right back focused at the plate? That's the question.
4 hits for Cotuit tonight. 1 from Norris. Sidearm delivery, strike 3. A 3-pitch K for Chase Hungate. And now his 4th strikeout as a Firebird in just 1 2/3 innings pitched.
5 outs, 4 Ks. Hungate doesn't scream strikeout pitcher when you see him, but he can really work that two-seamer along with a changeup.
Hungate 21 strikeouts and 25 innings of work in the spring. His first pitch to the 8th man of the order, Josh Pine, a strike in this righty-on-righty battle. 0-1.
This is bottom of the order, 7-8-9 for Cotuit. They need to put up a 0, the Firebirds do, to let their offense get back to work.
Bases empty, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch is smoked to left. 0-2. A little bit early on that one is Pine. He doubled in the 5th. Also came around the score on the Galaney grand slam. Struck out looking in the 3rd. Cotuit looking to have a hit, if you could hear that, from the public address system from Lowell Park. Only 4 hits tonight, but enough for 5 runs. And it's a tied game in the bottom of the 7th. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Popped up, right center field. Moving towards his right and making the catch in his left-handed glove is Colin Tuft. That's 2 quick outs recorded for Hungate as his former collegiate teammate Tuft makes the snag.
Pretty familiar with him making a few plays in the field, wherever that may be, center, left, right, third, wherever. But a good catch by Tuft. He's been really solid in center field, and we saw him in the corners, and maybe he wasn't as comfortable over there, but in center, he's looked really good tonight.
Bottom man in the order is the left-handed James McCoy. Really good defense, and just a great night overall from Colin Tuft. Fastball misses inside from Hungate, 1-0. Also a Virginia native, just like Tuft, although one from the DMV area, like Tuft, and Hungate not. 1-0 misses outside, 2-0. He's from Abington, which is in southwest Virginia. It's a small town, 3.5 hours away from UVA. Started his collegiate career at VCU, but their head coach left for the Notre Dame job, and now he transferred to UVA. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
Ian, I'd like to clear something up. Yesterday we went over the DMV, but I have another question. I thought the DMV went everywhere in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Is that not true?
Nobody on 2 out, 2 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Popped up, left field, drifting towards his right. Eddie Micheletti makes the catch ahead of his head for the 3rd out of the inning. Dylan, I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry. I'm not from that area of the country. I'm going to lean towards your area, but at the same time, our producer, Will Lundgren, is shaking his head at me. So I think I was right. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you, Dylan. All right, still tied at 5. Chase Hungate goes 1-2-3, retires the bottom of the order for Cotuit. We go to the top of the 8th, and this thing is still knotted up on the Birds Broadcast Network. Top of the 8th on the Birds Broadcast Network, tied at 5. The best team in the league, Cotuit, trying to improve to 17-7, while Orleans trying to get back in the win column for the first time in 3 games. Back to the top of the order, it's Joe Oyama. The lefty faces the right-handed Cole Mathis. Showed bunt, took a ball, pulled it back, 1-0.
For each team now, it's about getting base runners on, getting them over. I think a bunt here would be a perfect strategy by Oyama.
Oyama shows bunt again, pulled it back, but Mathis landed a curveball on the lower third for strike 1. Playing in the grass at third is Ryan Galaney, the superstar. The 1-1 misses low, 2-1. Grand slam from Galaney, the All-American from Wofford, in the bottom of the 5th inning to give Cotuit a 5-1 lead, and ever since, Orleans has scored 4 straight to knot things up. The 2-1 pitch, chopped foul, 2-2.
Oyama, such a technician with the bat at the plate. Continues to fight, will foul off any ball he doesn't like. Any walks here with no outs or 1 out would really put the other team with a lot of stress. These are stress innings for each pitcher. Late game, tie game.
2-2 pitch. Does not look stressful for Mathis. Gets a swing and a miss at a breaking ball low in the zone for strike 3. Oyama strikes out for the first time tonight. Bases clear, 1 out. Still tied at 5 from Lowell Park. It's gotten considerably darker in the sky. It's been cloudy all afternoon, but the sun not scheduled to set for over another hour. Hopefully that doesn't turn into anything too scary. Justin Rubin, the right-handed designated hitter, takes a strike, off-speed pitch, 0-1.
It's gotten darker, like you said, Ian. I'm not a sunset guy, but it seems like we've seen it.
Bunt from Rubin. Galaney throws across his body to first. What a play! He was playing for the bunt. Rubin didn't show it on the first pitch. It was a good bunt attempt, too, but an even better play from Galaney at third to put 2 away in the top of the 8th.
What a play from Galaney. Charged in, made the perfect throw over to first base. A quick top of the 8th going so far for Mathis.
Bases cleared, 2 out. Jack Penny into the batter's box, and a great pitch on the inside corner for strike 1 at 78 miles an hour. Mathis, his off-speed stuff is legit. Breaking ball off speed, it's all working right now.
12-6 curve.
He goes with the fastball there. It misses outside at 94, 1-1.
Not too bad of a 2-pitch pitcher for Mathis. 94 fastball, 78 curveball. Wow.
And he's a 2-way. It's not even his priority. 1-1, pops off the mound to Norris at second. Throw to first in time. 1-2-3 goes Hungate in the bottom of the 7th for Orleans. And 1-2-3 goes the 2-way star, Cole Mathis, in the top of the 8th. It stays tied at 5 as we're moving quickly in the late stages of this game. You won't want to miss how it finishes up from Lowell Park. Bottom of the 8th we go on the Birds Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 8th from Lowell Park. Thanks so much for joining us on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Tied at 5. Only 4 hits for Cotuit, but one of them a grand slam from Ryan Galaney. He's not batting. It's the top man of the order, Carter Matheson, to face Chase Hungate. His first pitch to the lefty, inside for his strike, 0-1. Matheson grounded out in the first and the third and was intentionally walked in the 5th, and then the next batter up, Galaney, See you later, his second grand slam of the summer. 0-1 pitch, popped foul to left. Quickly 0-2.
Hungate looked really good in the 7th against the bottom of the order of Cotuit. And that was in a really top-pressured inning against the top of the order now for the Kettleers.
Matheson holds the bat slightly above his left shoulder, and on the 0-2 takes, ball one. Hungate misses outside at 86 miles an hour. Been a quiet night for the Indiana star Matheson, who, coming into this evening, was on a 9-game hit streak, trying to extend it. The 1-2 pitch. Outside, ball 2. Back-to-back balls. Matheson staying patient, trusting his eyes, and evening the count. Hungate, wearing the camo red vest and the red undershirt, kicks and deals the 2-2. Misses upstairs. That's 3 straight balls to Matheson, who's worked the count full. On deck, Ryan Galaney. Tied at 5, bottom of the 8th from Lowell Park. Here's the payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. What an at-bat for Carter Matheson. Swings the bat just once and works out a leadoff walk. He's on base for the second time tonight.
Last time up, he got intentionally walked. This time he actually has to work through a walk, and he was down 0-2 in the count. Works his way back. You don't want to start out an inning with a leadoff walk ever, especially in a tie game bottom 8.
You don't want to start out many innings facing Ryan Galaney. A grand slam in the bottom of the 5th inning. They give Cotuit a lead that has vanished. He shows bunt, fielded by Hungate, throws to first, makes the play, and Hallback keeps it in his glove. As moving over to second in the process on the sac bunt is Matheson. You got to give a lot of credit to Ryan Galaney. He's a megastar. He's been really good this summer. Had a grand slam his last time up. Unselfish, lays down a sac bunt here in the bottom of the 8th to put Matheson in scoring position.
Well, you want to know why the Kettleers win all these games? It's because players like that will put aside their ego and do what they can for the team to win.
Kelly Nicholson trying to make the winning moves as the manager. He's out on the mound talking to Chase Hungate, and it's because he's taking the ball from Hungate. He puts in the winningest pitcher in the league with 3 wins to his resume in Sean Matson. Matson comes into the ball game, potentially trying to get 5 outs. 1 on, runner in scoring position. That's what Matson walks into in a tied game at 5 apiece. We'll be right back as Matson gets hot here in the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 8th. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 8th, Cotuit had a 5-1 lead, but Orleans clapped back, scored 4 in a row, and now it's tied at 5 in the bottom of the 8th. Cole Mathis returns to the batter's box for the first time since he came out of a bullpen, trying to get the lead back for Cotuit with a runner on second base. Carter Matheson walked, moved over in the scoring position after a sac bunt from Ryan Galaney, who faced Chase Hungate. Hungate out, Sean Matson in. His first pitch misses outside in this righty-on-righty battle. 1-0.
Matson hasn't pitched in a week, But this is for Coach Kelly Nicholson, putting all your chips in the middle of the table. This is your best guy out of the pen in a place where they really need him. A runner on second with one out.
Matson misses outside his second pitch in a row. 2-0. 1 on, 1 out. The go-ahead run on second. Matheson takes his lead. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Blooping in the right center field. Down in no man's land for a base hit. Racing on his way home is Matheson. Throw cut off by Carpellotti. It's wide to the left of home plate. Cotuit takes the lead. An RBI single for Cole Mathis. What can't he do in the bottom of the eighth? The Kettleers back on top.
All you can say is unlucky. And Matson gets a ball off the end of the bat from Mathis. But it just had eyes, and it dropped right behind Oyama before Trimble could get there. But that's what you don't want, leadoff walks, and that's what put the Orleans Firebirds in trouble in the eighth.
Pitch from Matson is popped foul against the left-handed batter Brock Wills, who reached on an error, walked, and struck out looking tonight. 0-1. That run to be charged against Chase Hungate, who walked Matheson, moved to second on a sac bunt, and scores on the RBI single from Mathis in the right field. 1-0 pitch in for a strike on the lower half of the zone. Count even. Cotuit, far and away the best team in the league this season, making a winning play in the bottom of the eighth. 2-1 gets the whiff. That was actually strike three. Apologies. As Wills goes down swinging, and Matson records his first strikeout out of a bullpen.
Great job by Sean. He doesn't let the run coming in affect him. He gets right back on the horse, gets the second out of the inning.
Matson deals. Breaking ball that misses outside to Caleb Lomavita, the catcher. Righty on righty, 1-0. Runner on first is Mathis, whose RBI single scored Carter Matheson to give Cotuit a 6-5 lead here in the bottom of the eighth inning. Its first lead since relinquishing the advantage in the top of the seventh. 1 ball and a strike to the Cal Berkeley product. Matson deals and misses low, 2-1.
This was a game that the Firebirds never took the lead in. And if we're looking towards the ninth, it's 4-5-6 with Hallback, Micheletti, and Trimble.
Another breaking ball low of the zone, 3-1. Matson not one to hand out free passes. Headed into tonight, only 1 walk in 10 innings pitched. Lomavita had 3-1. He deals, and this is shot right to right, drifting towards his left. Another great play from Colin Tuft, who's making it look so easy when it's not in center field. Runner stranded on first is Cole Mathis. Mathis, the two-way, makes something happen from the plate, an RBI single to right that scored Carter Matheson. And Ryan Galaney makes his impact felt again on a critical sac bunt, which moved Matheson over to second, allowed him to score on that single from Mathis. 6-5, Cotuit the lead. Go to the top of the ninth from Lowell Park. Orleans needs a run or more to keep this game moving. Top of the ninth on the Birds Broadcast Network. A quiet, cloudy evening, but this place ready to explode as Cotuit 3 outs away from a win. Cole Mathis, who had the go-ahead single in the bottom of the 8th, toes the rubber for the top of the 9th, trying to do it all for the Kets. He faces Matt Hallback, the 4-hitter, first baseman, in a righty-on-righty battle. Misses low with a 12-6 curve. It's 1-0.
Firebirds need a man on base here to create some trouble.
Mathis misses in with the fastball, 2-0. Hallback flew out in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th, and grounded out in the 7th. Without a hit in each of the last 2 nights, after a 6-game hit streak. Now would be a right time to start a new streak. The 2-0s missed. Breaking ball on the lower 3rd gets the strike on the whiff, 2-1. Mathis deals and misses low again. Another offering in the mid-80s, 3-1.
Hallback has to look for a pitch he can drive, but also look to get on base.
Here's the pitch. Doesn't need to drive it because he gets on base. 94 miles an hour on the inside corner. A 5-pitch leadoff walk for the rising junior from UC San Diego. The tying run on first. The go-ahead run at the plate. Eddie Micheletti has had a big night. One of his best in a while. Johnny Olmstead is going to be pinch hitting in a few.
Pinch running.
Pinch running, rather. I have no eyes. I should probably stand up and pay a little bit more attention. 6'5" Cotuit, top 9. Johnny Olmstead pinch running off the bench at first for Matt Hallback.
Olmstead has not pinch run before this season. You wonder if Eddie King is available.
He leads the team in stolen bases with 6. King does, not Olmstead.
And he's been the go-to man off the bench to pinch run.
The 1-0 pitch to Micheletti. On the outside for his strike with the fastball, 1-1. 2 hits tonight for the Delaware native Micheletti. Singled in both the 2nd and the 7th. Sandwiched in between there, reaching on a fielder's choice and grounding out to first. 1 on, nobody out. Here's the 1-1. On the ground and foul down the right field line past Tobias, 1-2.
It makes sense to bring in Olmstead because, of course, he's going to play first base where Hallback was. But in all reality, you can just bring in King, have him pinch run, and then whatever happens, if the Firebirds tie the game or take the lead, then bring in Olmstead. But I guess that's not the case.
Olmstead 1 for 1 on stolen base opportunities this season. A ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, ball 2. Count back to even as a fastball misses high. 6-5 game. Cotuit in front after an RBI single from Cole Mathis in the bottom of the 8th. And Mathis now on the mound. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. And missing outside for ball 3. It was a check swing from Micheletti. He kept it in front of home plate, according to Arturo Belmonte. Mike Roberts throws his helmet off in disgust from the left side of the field near the Cotuit dugout. The 19th-year manager obviously not a fan of a call. Full count to Micheletti with 1 on and nobody out. Here's the pitch. Smoked to right field, but it dies ahead of a wall as the center fielder Matheson makes the catch. And Johnny Olmstead trots back to first, the pinch runner, running for Matt Hallback. 1 on, 1 out. Now it's Fenwick Trimble's turn.
Barring a double play, of course, good for the Firebirds to get Colin Tuft up. He's on deck because he's had such a great night. Trimble, 2 hits for him in the last 2 at-bats.
Trimble, multiple hits in each of the last 2 nights. Singles in each of the last 2 innings. 1 on, 1 out. Mathis deals a big curve that nearly gets the face of Trimble. 1-0. Righty on righty. Another righty due up after Trimble as well, and Colin Tuft, who's also had multiple hits. So the 2 hottest bats in the Orleans lineup represent the go-ahead run. The 1-0 pitch. Curveball misses low. 2-0 to the rising junior from James Madison. Cole Mathis, he's had some heck of a night. Out of a bullpen, DHing, hitting the go-ahead single last inning. He checks in on Johnny Olmstead, the rising 5th year from USC, who slides in head first to the bag, being held on by a fellow Pac-12 standout, Jacob Tobias from Arizona State. 2-0 pitch, inside, 3-0.
Mathis has lost the zone with the fastball. He keeps missing inside to righties. Firebirds can't take any chances. Take your walks. Get men on base.
Trimble's not walked much this summer. Only 3 walks in 67 at-bats headed into tonight. But now ahead in the count, 3-0. Here's the pitch. Inside, a strike. Fastball lands in the zone this go-around. He's still ahead 3-1 with Olmsted off first and 1 away. 6-5 Cotuit, top 9. Mathis gets the sign from Lowell Mavita. Kick steals for 3-1. And this is shot past the glove of Tobias. No, he gloves it. Throws to second for 1, and the throw to first is not in time. It was a difficult play to make for Grant Norris, as sliding into him feet first was Johnny Olmsted. He's forced out at second, but reaching on a fielder's choice at first is Fenwick Trimble, and Orleans just barely stays alive with Colin Tuft due up to the plate.
What a pick by Tobias. Oh, man. A 3-1 swing by Trimble. Lines it completely on a line. A hard hit ball. Tobias just scoops it out of the ground, makes a good throw to second, and almost gets the double play as he had to go back and cover first. It's been that type of night for the Firebirds. Bounces aren't going their way.
Can a bounce go the way of Colin Tuft? Righty on righty. Mathis deals and misses low. 1-0. Tuft, his best night as a Firebird. Only his 3rd game with the team. Doubled in both the 2nd and 6th. Drove in a run in that 3-run 6th inning. A ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Tuft takes a fastball for another ball on the inside corner. 2-0.
3 times in this game, or this inning, I should say, for Mathis. He's fallen behind at least 2-0. And this is a Firebirds offense that's really done well tonight. In 9 innings, only 2 of them, they haven't had any base runners.
Breaking ball in for strike 1 looking. The curve at 79 lands for a strike. Mathis still behind 2-1. Tuft steps back into a right-handed batter's box. Trimble on first after reaching on a fielder's choice. He's the tying run. The 2-1 pitch misses low. Tuft stays off it and now takes ball 3.
Right now, Mathis can't find the zone with the fastball. He goes to the curveball. He can't find it on 2-1. Most likely he's going to go back to it on 3-1. Let's see if Tuft can adjust.
3 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Goes back to a fastball in for strike 2. A 94-mile-an-hour offering that Tuft doesn't swing at. It all comes down to this. The crowd on its feet. Cole Mathis trying to pull off a pretty incredible feat as one of the best 2-ways in the country. 1 on, 1 out. Here's the payoff. Popped up foul. Over the backstop. We'll do it again on the full count. Runner on first is Fenwick Trimble, who hit a hard ground ball to first, gloved by Tobias, who threw to second to force out Johnny Olmsted. And the throw from Norris not in time to retire, but tying run. 6-5 Cotuit. The clap's coming in. Top 9. Another full count pitch. Swing and a miss. They call him Cole Hay for a reason. The go-ahead single in the bottom of the 8th. The strikeout to end it in the top of the 9th. 6-5 Cotuit, the best team in the league. Now 10 games above 500 with a 6-5 thriller from Lowell Park. Orleans drops its 3rd in a row.
A game that they're going to look back on and say that they should have had. Is a Firebirds offense that really got going tonight and had a lot of base runners continuously. Left multiple guys on base twice. Left a guy on base in the 9th. They left 12 men on base last night. Upwards of 10 tonight as well. An offense that's getting guys on but cannot get guys in right now.
Dylan, this was definitely, in my mind, one of the most memorable games this season, and that's difficult to say as we start we start cooling down. It's such a crazy game, I can't even get my thoughts straight. Cooling down here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas and Dylan Pescatore trying to recap a wild 6-5 finish. Kettleers with the win at their home park, Lowell Park. Dylan Jacobs goes down with an injury in the 5th inning, and after that, a lot happened. A grand slam for Ryan Galaney, 4 unanswered runs for Orleans. Talk about that sequence. You know, a lot of resiliency shown by this team, even though the final result not in favor of Orleans.
Yeah, it's a team that fought back for sure. I mean, grand slam by Galaney, back-to-back times that we've played here at Lowell Park that's happened. And this team, once again, they could have just went into a shell and let it happen. And Cotuit, they're a great team. Chalk it up as a loss. They came right back. They scored 4 runs. They tied the game, but they couldn't get the extra hit. I think a big turning point of this game, I keep going back to it. So much has happened, but it keeps sticking out of my mind. First and third with 2 outs, Fenwick Trimble up in the 3rd inning, and it was a hit and run that just hit the leg of Eddie Micheletti for the 3rd out. I think that could have led to a big inning for the Firebirds. They leave a runner on right there, and the rest of the game goes on. The Orleans offense once again comes up short, even though they had 5 more hits than the Kettleers tonight.
Sometimes things break your way. Sometimes you get hit by a line drive, making your way to second base. There's no one really to blame. That's just a game of baseball, as you would kind of say. 6-5 the final score as we continue cooling down here on the Birds Broadcast Network. The offense with 10 hits tonight, but not enough to overcome a Cotuit team that improves to 17-7. 8 wins in its last 11 games. Meanwhile, Orleans, with its 3rd straight loss, its 2nd longest losing streak of the summer, drops to 10-13. Dylan, I know something you've been focusing in on over the last few games has been the bottom half of the order for the Firebirds. The top 4 pretty solidify with Joe Oyama, Jack Penny, and Matt Hallback appearing to be mainstays, but the biggest performances tonight coming from Fenwick Trimble, who bats 6th, Colin Tuft, who bats 7th, both of them with multiple hits.
Also, I thought I had a really good game in the bottom of the order was Drew Farreau. He hit the ball hard 3 times, a line drive to right in the 2nd, a line drive to left in the 4th, singled in the 6th, and also came around to score. It's been a lineup that was actually really good tonight. I mean, we always mention it, Ian. Everyone got on base tonight. Of course, 5 runs came to score for the Firebirds, and when you say that, usually you come out as victors. Tonight they did not. The pitching was good. It wasn't great. The intentional walk to Matheson and the home run by Galaney. I think the big turning point in terms of the pitching was the leadoff walk by Chase Hungate in the 8th. Of course, the bunt by Galaney, we talked about that, moved the runner to 2nd. Cotuit's doing everything right now, and it's all going their way. Like Cole Mathis, a hit off the end of his bat, a blooping single off Sean Matson. Not hard hit, but it gets down. Right now for the Firebirds, when they do hit the ball hard, it doesn't get down, but the opposition, they hit bloopers, and they do get down.
Orleans trying not to stay too down after a well-fought game against the best team in the league, the Kettleers, with a grand slam that could have broke the Birds in the bottom of the 5th. Orleans responds with 4 unanswered of its own. But Cole Mathis, just touch on the kind of game he had, Dylan. It's not easy to be a two-way. Shohei Ohtani and all these new two-way players make it look easy, but to drive in the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 8th and to respond the way he did with the strikeout of Colin Tuft at the top of the 9th, that's unremarkable. That's remarkable. It's unreal.
It truly is. And hey, Cotuit's playing in the background. Not only did he go out and pitch 3 innings that were outstanding with only 1 run allowed and 2 hits and 2 strikeouts, but also he started out his day 0 for 3 at the plate, so not the greatest day to start for Mathis. He gets on the mound. He controls the game after a bad outing from Rafe Schlesinger, and then he comes back up and has the game-winning hit. So game-winning hit also gets the 3-inning outing, which won the game for Cotuit, and that'll do it. He gets the win. He gets the go-ahead hit. He gave himself the win pretty much.
Yeah. It's going to be a memorable performance for the College of Charleston standout. Doing a little bit of everything. Orleans did everything it could, didn't catch a couple breaks, and ultimately drops its 3rd in a row. Birds 10-13 on this summer with its 3rd loss to Cotuit. Cotuit improves to 17-7, just rolling through the league regardless of opponent. Birds back in action tomorrow. They play Yarmouth Dennis, the top team in the East Division from Eldridge Park. Make sure to show out, and if you can't, well, we've got you covered. A 6:30 start on the scorching start. We wrap up the cooling down here after a 6-5 loss to the Kettleers for the Firebirds. We'll be starting tomorrow at 6:15 per usual when the Birds are at home. But before we go, let's talk about our post-game sponsor, that being Mazzio Construction. Mazzio Construction LLC worked hard to build a reputation for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. The team's committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure that all your needs are met. They're honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work. See how they can help you. Mazzio Construction, LLC. A cloudy night from Lowell Park and a cloudy result. Not a bad loss, but still a loss to the best team in the league. The Kettleers take down the Firebirds 6-5. Third straight loss in a row for Orleans, trying to snap the streak at home against Yarmouth Dennis tomorrow. For Dylan Pescatore, our sideline reporter Sammy Miller, our producer Will Lundrigan, Ian Nicholas saying, have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow from Eldridge at 6:30, Orleans and YD.